Hello there, and welcome. As you settle into a comfortable position, perhaps with the faint glow of a screen or the soft darkness of a quiet room around you, this space is an invitation to rest. Tonight, we will wander slowly through one of the gentlest mysteries in all of science, your own consciousness. Not as a puzzle to solve, not as a test to pass, but as a soft landscape to explore while you drift towards sleep. You do not need to remember any facts from this journey. You do not need to focus hard or think deeply. You can let the words wash over you like distant waves, arriving and fading at the shoreline of your awareness. If your mind drifts, it is welcome to drift. If you miss parts of this story, that is perfectly fine. This is not a lecture. This is a lullaby built from the quiet truths of the mind. For a moment, notice the simple fact that you are here, listening, reading. There is a gentle feeling of being you in this moment. You might notice the softness of your pillow or the warmth of a blanket. Perhaps there is a tiny sound in the distance, a fan turning, a car passing, the hum of night around you. All of these are appearing inside a single, seamless experience. That seamless space where sounds, thoughts, and sensations come together is what we call consciousness. Consciousness is sometimes described in big, abstract terms, full of complex theories and technical language. But at its heart, it is something very simple and very familiar. It is the quiet, ongoing feeling of, I am awake to this moment. It is the glow behind your eyes when you notice the way your chest rises and falls. It is the gentle awareness that you are tired and that it feels good to rest. Even as you begin to relax, your brain is still working. For you in the background, it is keeping track of your breathing, the position of your body, the temperature of the room. It is filtering out unimportant noises so that only the softest, safest sounds reach your awareness. Your consciousness, the part of you that feels like me, is only a small, peaceful surface on a deep, silent ocean of hidden activity. You do not have to control that ocean. It holds you, supports you, and rocks you gently towards sleep. If you wish, you can close your eyes now, or simply soften your gaze. Notice how, even with your eyes closed, there is still something it is like to be you. You might see faint colors or shifting shapes behind your eyelids. You might feel the weight of your body sinking a little deeper into the mattress. You might notice the slow rhythm of your breathing, like waves flowing in and out. This simple noticing is consciousness, resting but still quietly awake. For most of your day, consciousness is busy. It keeps track of conversations, tasks, and worries. It jumps ahead to tomorrow or back to yesterday. It makes lists, it makes plans. But now, as you prepare to sleep, we can gently invite it to do less. There is nowhere you need to go. There is nothing you need to fix. The story of who you are can soften around the edges, like ink spreading slowly through warm water. Science tells us that consciousness does not switch off all at once when you fall asleep. Instead, it fades gradually, like the dimming of a sunset. Thoughts grow slower. The sense of time loosens. Sounds become rounder, softer, more distant. You pass through a quiet borderland between waking and sleep, where images flicker and melt, and the mind experiments with fragments of dreams. In this in-between place, facts about consciousness are not sharp diagrams on a whiteboard. They are gentle reminders that what you are feeling is natural, safe, and beautifully ordinary. As you listen, you might notice that parts of your attention are already slipping away. You might hear a sentence begin and not quite hear how it ends. You might find that a thought of your own rises up, unrelated to these words, perhaps a memory, or a stray image, or the echo of a song. All of this is welcomed. Consciousness is allowed to wander, It is like a small light drifting slowly down a hallway, moving from room to room, becoming dimmer and softer as it goes. The fascinating thing is that even when consciousness dims, the brain continues its quiet work. It organizes memories from the day. It repairs tiny connections. It rebalances chemicals. It rehearses and replays, tidies and stores, like a devoted librarian working late. At night, in a silent, moonlit archive. You do not feel this work directly, but you feel its result as a kind of morning clarity, a lightness, a sense that something inside you has been gently reset. Tonight, as we speak about consciousness, we will linger on these calming aspects. We will explore the peaceful rhythms of brainwaves, the soothing patterns that appear when the mind is at rest, and the way attention can narrow to the simple comfort of breathing. We will touch on dreams that bloom in the dark, the subtle boundary between me and not me, and the shared mystery of awareness that living beings carry like small lanterns through the universe. Every idea will be offered slowly, with space to breathe, with room for silence. If you feel your body becoming heavier, that is good. If your eyes feel warm and heavy, that is good. If you notice your thoughts starting to blur, that too is good. Consciousness does not need to stay sharp to appreciate these facts. Like listening to quiet music, you can drift in and out, catching glimpses of meaning and letting the rest pass by. The brain will take what it needs. The rest can dissolve into the gentle fog of sleep. In the vastness of space, consciousness is an incredibly delicate phenomenon, and yet it shows up here, right now, as you, a single mind in a single room, feeling the softness of fabric and the weight of gravity, sensing the closeness of sleep. You do not need to solve the mystery of what consciousness is. You only need to feel the simple truth that it is happening, lightly, quietly, within you. You are aware, you are safe, you are allowed to rest. So, as we begin this slow journey through the most relaxing facts about consciousness, let each fact be like a small, warm light placed along the path to sleep. There is no hurry. There is no final quiz. Only the companionship of gentle curiosity, the comfort of science spoken softly, and the deep, human need to drift into darkness with a sense of calm and wonder. You may notice your breath once more. In, out, in, out. With each breath, the day feels a little farther away. With each breath, your awareness settles a little lower, like dust gently sinking in a sunbeam. Consciousness, which spent the day alert and busy, now has permission to loosen its grip and float. You are on the edge of a quiet sea, and the tide is slowly rising to carry you inward. In the coming parts, we will walk more carefully through this sea of awareness. We will look at the resting brain, the drifting self, the secret work of unconscious processes, and the tender strangeness of dreams. But for now, there is only this moment. You, resting, listening, and gently falling into the soft mystery of being aware, until awareness itself begins to fade into sleep. 1. A soft introduction to consciousness. Consciousness can feel like such a grand and complicated subject. Yet, when you approach it slowly, without rushing, it becomes as gentle and familiar as the sound of your own breathing. As you settle more deeply into this moment, you might notice that consciousness is not something you have to search for or grasp. It is already here, already soft and open, a quiet space where sensations, memories, and thoughts drift through like small clouds across a wide and peaceful sky. To introduce consciousness in a way that helps you fall asleep, we can let go of the idea of it being an academic puzzle and instead treat it as a warm, steady glow, like a lantern you carry within you even when the world around you grows dim. If you take a moment to feel your body, you may become aware of subtle sensations, the heaviness of your limbs, the way the mattress gently cradles your weight, the cool or warm air brushing the surface of your skin. Each of these sensations is like a tiny ripple in the soft pool of consciousness. You don't need to investigate them. Just noticing them is enough. Consciousness is the noticing, not the sensation, not the thought, not the sound, but the gentle being aware that holds all of them at once. This awareness does not push or pull. It does not demand. It simply allows things to appear and fade in their own time. During the day, consciousness often feels sharper, more focused, more tightly arranged. There are tasks to be done, problems to solve, conversations to follow. Your mind becomes a kind of spotlight, narrowing and shifting rapidly from one thing to another. But here, in the soft quiet of night, consciousness opens outward like a slow exhale. It becomes less like a spotlight and more like the gentle glow of twilight, where everything blends together at the edges. You can let your awareness spread out, lose its shape a little, become diffuse and warm. There is no need to hold on to any single thought or sensation. They can drift the way leaves drift on a calm lake. Scientists sometimes define consciousness as the feeling of being aware, but this simple definition holds great beauty. It means that consciousness is not something you create. It is something you experience, something that unfolds moment by moment, something that arises naturally without effort. Even when you stop trying to pay attention, consciousness continues on its own. It's like a quiet caretaker, always present in the background, giving you a sense of orientation in the world. And when you rest, consciousness itself becomes more restful, more delicate, like a candle flame flickering gently as the wind of thought slows down. What makes consciousness especially relaxing to reflect on is the way it ties together all the different textures of experience. When you hear a soft sound in the distance, like the hum of a fan or the settling of a house at night, consciousness receives that sound and places it into the quiet landscape of your awareness. When a memory arises, perhaps a moment from earlier today, or a small image of some forgotten place, consciousness holds it gently for a moment before letting it dissolve. When a stray thought drifts through, about something you meant to do or something you forgot to say, consciousness observes it without needing to follow. It is like watching floating seeds moving across a still evening breeze. You can see them, acknowledge them, and let them pass. If you close your eyes now, or simply soften your gaze, consciousness reveals another layer of itself. You might notice faint patterns behind your eyelids, shifting colors, soft shadows, maybe even small dreamlike images beginning to form. These are not dreams yet, but they are the early whispers of imagination. Consciousness has a way of blending the outer world and the inner world, allowing sensations to come from your body and images to come from your mind. At night, when your senses grow quieter, the inner world becomes more vivid. Consciousness drifts inward, like stepping slowly into a warm, dimly lit room where everything feels soft and familiar. Some people wonder where consciousness comes from, but in this peaceful moment, it is enough to notice that it is here. You don't need to understand its origin to appreciate its presence. You don't need to solve any of its mysteries to feel the gentle comfort it provides. Consciousness is the backdrop of your entire day, and yet it is one of the first things to soften when you begin to fall asleep. This softening is not a disappearance. It is a transition. Like dusk turning to night, awareness shifts from one form to another, from sharp edges to rounded shapes, from busy streets of thought to quiet open fields of sensation. You can feel that shift happening even now, as your breathing slows and your thoughts lengthen into softer lines. There is something soothing about knowing that consciousness is always changing. You do not need to hold on to a fixed sense of yourself. You do not need to maintain a precise narrative of who you are or what you should be thinking. Consciousness is fluid, flexible, flowing. It moves the way water moves, around stones in a stream. Thoughts may come, images may appear, memories may rise and fall, but the awareness that holds them remains calm. You are resting in that calm space right now, a space that has always been with you, even in moments when the world felt overwhelming or loud. If you pay attention, gently, not tightly, but softly, you may sense the edges of consciousness beginning to blur. This is natural. As your muscles soften, your heartbeat slows, and your mind drifts into a quieter state, consciousness begins to relax its focus. The boundaries between thought and sensation loosen. You may feel as though you are floating slightly, or sinking deeper into the bed, or expanding outward into the space around you. These sensations are simply signs that consciousness is preparing to move towards sleep, like the tide pulling gently away from the shore. You might notice that your sense of time is already starting to stretch. Moments feel longer, or perhaps they feel shorter. Thoughts arrive not in neat lines, but in soft waves. Consciousness, which during the day feels linear and structured, becomes more fluid at night. It moves in curves rather than angles, in drifting currents rather than sharp turns. This fluidity is one of the most calming aspects of awareness. It allows you to let go of the day's structure, the day's expectations, the day's noise. You are entering a gentler mode of being, one where nothing has to be achieved and nothing has to be remembered. As you continue to breathe, allow consciousness to rest. You do not need to analyze these sensations, just feel them. Feel how awareness is both spacious and intimate, both quiet and alive. It is the space in which everything appears, the sound of these words, the weight of your body, the softness of your pillow, the rhythm of your breath. And soon, as sleep draws closer, consciousness will begin to release its hold, allowing dreams to bloom in its place. But for now, it rests with you, softly glowing, gently opening, welcoming the arrival of sleep. In this way, consciousness becomes not a problem but a comfort, not a puzzle but a companion. As you lie here, letting your awareness soften more and more with each breath, you are experiencing one of the most peaceful truths of existence. You are aware, you are present, and you are slowly drifting into the quiet wonder of sleep. 2. Your brain stays active even when you rest. Even as your body settles into stillness, your brain continues its quiet work, humming softly beneath the surface of your awareness, like a vast and intricate engine that never truly sleeps. You may feel as though you are winding down, releasing the day, sinking into the gentle calm of night. But the brain remains beautifully alive, adjusting, organizing, and sustaining the rhythms that support your deepest rest. This is one of the most comforting truths of neuroscience. Your mind does not leave you when you fall asleep. It simply changes its way of being, adopting a slower, more fluid, more peaceful mode. As you lie here, perhaps feeling the heaviness of your limbs or the slow rise and fall of your breath, your brain is guiding you toward a state of increasing calm. The neurons that helped you think, talk, plan, and navigate the world shift into a different kind of conversation, one that flows in broad, synchronized waves rather than rapid, scattered bursts. These waves are like gentle tides washing across the surface of the brain, coordinating millions of tiny electrical pulses into a harmonious rhythm that promotes rest. You do not feel these waves directly, but you feel their effects: the loosening of thought, the softening of attention, the gentle drift towards sleep. Imagine for a moment the brain as a landscape at dusk. During the day, it is bright, busy, full of activity as though thousands of tiny lights flicker on and off across its surface, each representing a thought, a sound, a memory, a movement. But at night, those lights dim, not because they disappear, but because they reorganize themselves. They fall into patterns. They glow more slowly and steadily. The landscape becomes quieter, more unified, more like a single field illuminated by moonlight rather than a city lit by street lamps. This quietening is not the brain shutting down. It is the brain entering a state of deep recovery, one essential for your health and well-being. If you listen closely to your own sensations, you may notice traces of this shift happening even now. Thoughts that once moved quickly now feel slower, softer. You may find yourself forgetting what you were just thinking, or letting a sentence fade before it fully forms. This is the brain's way of easing you into sleep. It gradually reduces the sharpness of conscious thought, smoothing the edges of awareness so that the mind can transition into the drifting, floating state where dreams begin to gather. You do not need to force this transition. It happens naturally, guided by networks within the brain that have been refining this process your entire life. One of these networks helps regulate your internal sense of time. During the day, your brain constantly checks the clock of your body, aligning your energy levels with the cycle of light and dark. But at night, this system shifts gears. It sends signals that encourage rest, releasing chemicals that quiet the nervous system and promote drowsiness. You may feel this as a gentle heaviness behind your eyes, or as a spreading calm that moves from your chest outward. These sensations are the brain's invitation to enter a slower world, one where the demands of the day fall away and the mind can exist in a softer, quieter form, even while you rest. Another part of your brain is reviewing the events of the day. Without your awareness, it sorts through memories, strengthening the ones you need and letting the unimportant ones fade. It is as though a patient librarian walks through the archive of your mind, placing files in their proper places, removing duplicates, and gently closing drawers once the work is done. This process is essential for learning, emotional balance, and mental clarity. You might forget something you studied or experienced during the day, but your brain does not. It stores what matters, organizes what is useful, and prepares your mind for tomorrow, all while you sleep. Your breathing, too, is guided by the brain. You may notice it slowing as you relax, becoming deeper, more rhythmic, more soothing. This rhythm is controlled by structures deep within your brainstem, ancient parts of your nervous system that have been keeping you alive since before you took your first breath. These structures work tirelessly, adjusting the pace of your lungs to match the needs of your body, even when you are unaware of it. As you drift towards sleep, they create a gentle oscillation in your chest, a natural lullaby that rocks your body into deeper rest. Another remarkable process continues, even after consciousness fades. The brain's cleaning system, known as the glymphatic system. During the day, the brain accumulates tiny metabolic byproducts from its constant activity. At night, when the brain's rhythms slow and its networks synchronize, channels within the brain open and allow fluid to wash through, clearing away these byproducts. This cleansing is essential for brain health and is one of the reasons sleep feels so restorative. You may never feel these currents directly, but their effects leave you refreshed, clear, and emotionally balanced when morning comes. The brain also remains alert to danger, even in sleep. This does not mean it keeps you anxious or awake. Instead, it gently monitors your environment, listening for unusual noises or sudden changes. This alertness is faint, almost imperceptible, like a small watchful bird perched quietly at the edges of your awareness. It allows you to remain safe even when unconscious, waking you only if something truly needs your attention. This protective role of the brain offers a deep sense of security, letting your body relax fully into rest, knowing that some small part of you remains watchful. As you breathe slowly in and out, you may notice the subtle sensation of your muscles softening. This is guided by signals from the brain as well. To protect your body during sleep, the brain gradually reduces muscle tone, allowing you to lie still, conserving energy and preventing injury. This change begins even before you fully fall asleep, spreading like a gentle wave from the top of your body to the bottom. You can feel it as warmth or as a sense of sinking deeper into the bed. It is a physical sign that the brain is preparing you for rest, making sure that when sleep arrives, you can drift without tension. And then there are the early fragments of dreaming, those brief images, flashes of light or half-formed thoughts that appear as you teeter on the edge of sleep. These arise because parts of your brain begin to loosen their grip on sensory input and start to generate internal experiences. You might see shifting colors behind your eyelids, or fleeting images that make no logical sense. You might feel as though you are floating or turning, even though your body is still. These sensations are the earliest whispers of your dreaming mind, the first hints that consciousness is beginning to melt into imagination. Your brain creates these images not to confuse you, but to ease the transition from wakefulness to dreaming, allowing you to slip quietly into deeper rest. Throughout all of this, your brain is active, not busy, not stressed, not overwhelmed, but active in a slow, harmonious, beautifully coordinated way. Even while your thoughts fade and your awareness softens, the brain remains. Your guardian, your organizer, your quiet guide. It adapts to your needs, supports your rest, and tends to the silent work that makes you who you are. So as you lie here, breathing gently, sinking deeper into the softness around you, remember that nothing inside you is shutting down. Everything is shifting into its nighttime rhythm, a rhythm designed to cradle you in peace, restore you with care, and accompany you on your journey towards sleep. 3. The default mode network, the brain's idle dream. When you begin to relax, when the demands of the day grow softer and the world outside your mind becomes quieter, your brain shifts into a remarkably gentle mode of activity. This is not the sharp, focused attention you use when solving a problem or holding a conversation. It is something far slower, far more diffuse, something that feels like drifting through the calm space between thoughts. This soft, wandering state is guided by a network within your brain known as the default mode network, a collection of regions that glow with gentle activity whenever your mind is at rest. It is in these moments, when you are no longer focused on the external world, that this network begins to hum like a quiet engine running in the background, creating what scientists sometimes call the brain's idle dream. As you lie here, either with your eyes closed or your gaze softened into the shadows of your room, you may already feel the presence of this quiet inner landscape. It appears in the small, spontaneous thoughts that move through you without effort. It appears in the gentle replaying of memories, the subtle drift of imagination, the faint emergence of images not tied to anything happening around you. These experiences are not fully dreams and not fully waking thoughts. They are something in between, a kind of natural mental wandering that arises when your mind is allowed to float freely. The default mode network activates whenever you are not engaged in demanding tasks. If you let your mind drift during a quiet walk, it appears. If you stare out a window, watching light move across the floor, it appears. And especially now, as the world slows down and you prepare for sleep, it becomes one of the most prominent rhythms in your brain. Instead of fast, focused signals. The network generates slower, more spacious patterns that feel like thoughts unfurling in warm air, stretching into longer, softer shapes, dissolving at the edges. If you pay gentle attention to your inner world, without effort or strain, you may notice how thoughts emerge by themselves. A memory of something small, a conversation, a place, a face may drift to the surface. It might not stay long. Another thought may follow it, unrelated, arriving simply because your mind has room to breathe. In this way, the default mode network is like a quiet storyteller pulling threads from your day and weaving them into loose patterns. You don't need to hold onto any of these threads. Just noticing them is enough. They pass through you like small waves gliding across a very still lake. One of the most soothing things about the default mode network is that it requires no effort to activate. You could try to silence your mind, but that silence itself often creates more noise. Instead, if you let your awareness soften, the network naturally begins to glow with its calm inner rhythms. It is the brain's way of resting while still staying gently awake. Even if you drift in and out of focus, even if thoughts fade and return, this network continues to hold the space for you, maintaining a soft internal environment where your mind can unwind. Scientists have discovered that this network plays a role in shaping your sense of self. When you think about who you are, when you imagine your future or reflect on your past, the default mode network gently supports these thoughts. It gives you a sense of continuity, a feeling that your experiences belong to the same person across time. But at night, when you let your thoughts loosen, this sense of self becomes gentler too. It softens, it quiets, it stops insisting on stories, identities, and roles. Instead, it allows you to simply exist in the moment as a warm body, resting in a darkened room, breathing slowly and easily. This softening can be deeply comforting, especially when you are preparing to fall asleep. The default mode network is also responsible for the gentle wandering that leads you toward dreams. As attention fades and the world outside your body becomes less important, this network begins to blend memory and imagination. You may notice fleeting images, a place you once visited, a color with no clear source, a face you cannot place. These small flickers are signals that your brain is shifting from waking thought into the drifting currents of hypnagogia, the delicate in-between state that lies just before sleep. Here, the default mode network helps you slip away from structured thinking and into softer, dreamlike patterns. If you feel yourself drifting, that is perfectly natural. The network is not strong or demanding. It does not ask you to stay awake, nor does it push you fully into dreams. It is a bridge, a quiet passageway between consciousness and sleep. As you move across this bridge, thoughts may feel as though they are slowing, stretching into longer spaces of silence. You might forget what you were thinking a moment ago, or notice your mind repeating the beginning of a sentence. These are signs that you are entering the depths of the brain's idle dream, guided by the quiet coordination of this restful network. It can be soothing to imagine this network as a soft glow at the center of your mind, not bright and sharp, but warm and diffuse, like lantern light passing through thin paper. It illuminates your inner world with a gentle warmth, giving your thoughts room to unfurl and your attention room to wander. You might picture it as a quiet room inside your mind, a place filled with drifting dust motes and soft shadows, where you can sit and rest without needing to do anything at all. The default mode network creates this space for you, the mental equivalent of a dim room with a comfortable chair and a slow, steady breeze flowing through an open window. Even if you are not aware of it consciously, this network is preparing your mind for restoration. As it wanders through memories, it begins to sort and reorganize them, smoothing out the emotional wrinkles of the day. It helps you process experiences, make sense of events, and let go of unresolved tensions. This is why, in these quiet moments, you may find thoughts arising that you hadn't considered earlier, or feelings smoothing out, becoming gentler, less sharp. The default mode network is like a patient caretaker, tending to your inner landscape, sweeping softly across the floor of your mind. As your breathing deepens, the network settles even more into its nighttime rhythm. Its activity becomes slower, calmer, more spacious, and soon, as sleep approaches, it will hand its role over to the networks that govern dreaming. But for now, it is guiding you through this quiet drifting, helping you transition from the waking world to the tender space of sleep. Every image that flickers behind your eyelids, every half-thought that rises and dissolves, every small sensation of floating or sinking, all are held within this gentle, wandering network. The beauty of the default mode network is that it does not require you to stay alert. You can drift in and out of its soft current without effort. You can let your mind wander, become blurry, soften at the edges. You can allow your awareness to dissolve, knowing that this quiet, inner rhythm continues, like a background melody that guides you deeper and deeper into calm. It is the mind's way of whispering to you that it is safe to let go, safe to rest, safe to sink into the darkness where dreams begin. 4. Consciousness comes in many gentle shades. Consciousness is often spoken about as though it is a single, solid thing, switched on when you're awake and switched off when you're asleep. But the truth is far softer, far more fluid, more like the gradual blending of colors across a sky at dusk. Instead of sharp boundaries, consciousness moves through gentle shades, subtle transitions that you drift through every day without even noticing. These shades are not separate worlds, but variations of the same quiet awareness, each with its own texture, its own rhythm, its own way of holding experience. As you lie here now, you may already be moving from one shade to another, from the bright clarity of wakefulness into the dimmer, softer glow that accompanies drowsiness. And this movement, this gentle shifting, is one of the most calming aspects of your mind. You may begin to feel this shift as a loosening behind your eyes, a softening of the forehead, the gentle slowing of your thoughts. Wakefulness, the form of consciousness you spend most of your day in, is bright and structured. It keeps your attention sharp, helps you follow conversations, navigate tasks, and respond to the world around you. But it is only one shade among many. As you begin to relax, wakefulness becomes less defined, and a softer shade arises, a state of quiet awareness, where thoughts continue but feel slower, as though moving through warm water rather than crisp air. This state is the first step towards sleep, a transitional place where consciousness begins to blur, becoming more fluid and dreamlike. As the mind relaxes further, you may find yourself entering the shade known as drowsiness. Here, thoughts drift on their own. You may notice fragments of memories, half-formed images, or feelings that come and go without reason. Drowsiness is not yet sleep, but it is not fully awake either. It is a space where consciousness loosens enough to allow imagination to seep in, where the edges of reality grow softer. Sometimes you may feel as though you are floating, or sinking, or gently rocking. These sensations do not need to be understood. They are simply signs that your awareness is moving toward deeper shades of rest. If you allow yourself to drift a bit more, consciousness enters the shade of light sleep. In this state, the world grows distant. Sounds become less sharp, less meaningful. The body relaxes more deeply, muscles softening into a state of calm. Consciousness becomes faint, like a lantern dimming as the flame flickers lower. You may still have a trace of awareness, a sense that you are lying in a room, breathing, listening, but it is faint, fragile, barely more than a whisper. This shade of consciousness is gentle and restorative, offering the first true doorway into the rich and healing world of deeper sleep. Beyond light sleep is a deeper shade, one where consciousness becomes so faint that it barely resembles the experience of being awake. In deep sleep, awareness retreats into a warm darkness. There are no thoughts to chase, no images to interpret, no memories floating by. It is a shade of pure rest, where the mind and body release their tensions and settle into a profound stillness. You do not remember deep sleep while it is happening, because the parts of the brain that form memories rest as well. Yet this absence of awareness is one of the most essential forms of consciousness, an absence that restores, repairs, and rejuvenates you. It is the night's deepest shade, the quiet core of your sleep. And then, beyond deep sleep, consciousness rises again into the vivid world of dreams. This is yet another shade, one where awareness is present but unanchored, free-floating, able to create entire landscapes from memory and imagination. Dream consciousness is fluid, strange, and often beautiful. It does not follow waking logic. It does not need to. In dreams, your mind rehearses emotions, processes, experiences, and plays with possibilities. You may find yourself walking through familiar places that melt into unfamiliar ones, speaking to people who shift face or form, or experiencing sensations that arise from nowhere. In this shade, consciousness becomes an artist, painting with fragments of your inner world. Even though dreams feel real while they happen, they are a kind of gentle illusion, a reminder that consciousness is not fixed but endlessly creative. There are other shades as well, each with its own subtle shape. There is the drifting state called hypnagogia, which appears just before sleep, when consciousness flickers between waking and dreaming. In this shade, images appear suddenly, then vanish, like sparks of light in soft darkness. Sounds may distort into tones or murmurs. Thoughts blend with visual fragments in ways that make little sense. Hypnagogia is a beautiful shade because it reveals the mind's natural fluidity, the way it can create without intention, without control, without effort. Another shade appears on the opposite side when you are waking up, hypnopompia. Here, consciousness rises slowly from deep sleep, carrying traces of dreams with it. You may feel as though you are still partly inside a dream, caught between two worlds, the inner and the outer. This shade changes minute by minute, until finally wakefulness returns and the world sharpens again. But the softness of this early shade often lingers: the slow opening of the eyes, the warmth of the blankets, the heavy comfort of a body still halfway in rest. These transitions remind us that consciousness is not a switch, but a tide. Meditation brings its own shade, a calm, anchored awareness where thoughts come and go without pulling you with them. In this shade, consciousness feels spacious, open, quiet. The mind watches itself with gentle curiosity. This shade is not sleep, yet resembles it in its stillness. It shows that calm is not dependent on unconsciousness. The mind can be peaceful even while awake. There are also shades shaped by emotion. You know what it feels like when consciousness brightens with joy or softens with contentment, when it narrows during stress or opens when you relax. Each feeling is a subtle tint, a slight shift in the hue of awareness. In restful moments like this one, these emotional shades become gentler, smoothing themselves into a uniform calm. What makes consciousness so relaxing to explore is the realization that every shade is natural. You do not need to force yourself into sleep. You do not need to cling to wakefulness. You are already moving through the shades of consciousness simply by being here, breathing, resting. As your thoughts slow and your body settles, You are drifting into one of the softest shades, the space where awareness becomes quiet enough to let sleep approach from the edges. If you listen closely to your inner state, you may feel consciousness thinning, becoming more transparent. Thoughts may begin to overlap or repeat. Sentences may become harder to follow. This is not a sign of losing control. It is a sign of letting go. Consciousness is preparing itself for the next shade, for the warm darkness of sleep, for the journey into dreams. Each shade of consciousness carries you gently toward rest, like stepping stones arranged across a shallow river. You do not need to leap. You simply move forward, one soft step at a time, and eventually, you reach the quiet center, where consciousness gives itself permission to fade, to settle, to dissolve into the deep calm of the night. 5. Your sense of self is a story the brain tells. There is a quiet and gentle truth about the mind that becomes easier to feel as you drift towards sleep. The sense of I, the feeling of being a single, continuous self, is not a fixed object or a solid place inside your head. It is more like a story your brain is always telling, a soft, ongoing narration that threads sensations, memories, and emotions into something that feels whole. This sense of self is familiar, comforting, and deeply human. Yet when you observe it closely, especially in moments like this, when your awareness softens, it begins to show its fluid nature. It becomes clear that the self is not a rigid structure, but a delicate, ever-unfolding process. As you rest here, noticing your breath rising and falling, you may sense that you feel a certain way, perhaps tired, or peaceful, or simply suspended between wakefulness and sleep. But this feeling is not coming from a single place. It is woven from countless small signals: the warmth of your skin, the rhythm of your breath, the faint hum of thoughts moving through your mind. All of these pieces combine into something that feels like a coherent identity. Yet none of them alone is the self. The self is the gentle gathering of all these sensations, held together by your brain in a soft and continuous line. During the day, this line feels stable. You know where you are, what you're doing, what you plan to do next. The self feels like a narrator perched inside your thoughts, stringing one moment to the next. But here, in the quiet stillness of night, when your body is relaxed and your mind begins to drift, that narrator softens. The boundaries begin to blur. You may find that the sense of me becomes less firm, more like a warm presence than a specific shape. This is not losing yourself. This is the self allowing itself to stretch, to loosen, to dissolve into something softer and calmer. If you close your eyes, or simply allow your gaze to grow unfocused, you might notice how easily your thoughts drift away from the everyday story of who you are. You may recall something from childhood without knowing why it appeared. You may imagine a place you've never been. You may hear the quiet voice of your inner monologue fading and reappearing, sometimes clear, sometimes distant. This drifting narrates a deeper truth. The self is not a constant object. It is a fluid process, always updating, always reshaping itself based on what you feel, what you sense, what you remember. The brain creates this sense of self by weaving together different kinds of information, where your body is in space, what your history has been, what emotions flow through you, and what you expect to happen next. All these threads combine to form a tapestry that feels like a single you. Even though the threads themselves are countless and shifting, it is similar to watching the colors of the sky change over an hour. You still call it the sky, even though its hues are constantly blending. The self is like that one identity made from ever-changing sensations. At night, when you lie quietly, the story of self begins to soften. The mind no longer needs to narrate every action. There is no need to maintain a clear sense of past or future. The edges of identity become indistinct, like ink spreading through warm water. Thoughts that belong to you may begin to mix with dreamlike fragments that arise without logic or intention. This blending is one of the signs that the brain is easing the self-story, preparing it to dissolve for sleep, where the boundaries of identity become even more fluid. In dreams, after all, you may be yourself, or you may be someone else, or you may float between perspectives without noticing anything strange. Dreams show how flexible the sense of self truly is. It can be comforting, especially as you prepare for sleep, to recognize that the self is not something you have to hold together. It does not rely on your effort. It does not depend on you thinking about who you are. It arises naturally, quietly, like a tide forming beneath the surface of the ocean. And when it is time to rest, the tide goes out just as naturally. You do not become nothing. You simply become quieter, softer, less defined. The mind enters a state where it no longer needs to maintain the continuous story of me and this. Release can feel deeply peaceful. As you breathe in and out, maybe feeling the slow heaviness settling into your limbs. Notice how your sense of self rests along with your thoughts. You may feel yourself sinking into the bed, the weight of your body becoming more pronounced. At the same time, you may feel your awareness becoming lighter, as if detaching from the usual anchor points. This combination of physical heaviness and mental lightness is a sign that the self-narrative is easing. You are not disappearing. You are simply letting go of the constant work of defining yourself, moment by moment. In this softened state, the brain continues to track your body, your breathing, your safety, but it loosens its grip on the story, on the memories of the day, the plans for tomorrow, the internal commentary that gives shape to your sense of identity. Without this constant narration, consciousness becomes spacious. It becomes more like floating in warm water, where you can feel gentle currents moving around you, but do not need to steer. The self stops trying to be the pilot and becomes more like a passenger present, but resting. If you pay attention to the moments just before sleep, you may notice how the self becomes even more fluid. Thoughts may appear in unfamiliar voices. You may momentarily forget who you are or where you are, not in a frightening way, but with a softness, as though the mind is releasing its hold on waking identity. These experiences are gentle reminders that the sense of self is a construction, a beautiful, necessary construction, but one that can loosen without breaking. And when sleep finally arrives, the self-story dissolves completely for a while. You stop experiencing yourself as a single, continuous narrator. The brain continues its quiet work, repairing, organizing, dreaming, but the sense of I, the daytime companion, rests. This rest is essential. It is part of what makes sleep so restorative. The self gets to set down its weight, its history, its expectations. It becomes free to reorganize, to reset, to return, refreshed when you wake again. Even when you are dreaming, the self is fluid. You may act like yourself, but you may also shift perspective, move through landscapes as an observer, or change identities without noticing the transition. This nighttime fluidity reveals something profound. The self is not a fixed shape, but a moment-by-moment pattern. And patterns can change gently, beautifully, without losing their essence. As you lie here now, drifting slowly toward sleep, you may feel your own pattern loosening. This is not something to resist. It is a natural, soothing part of the journey into rest. The self will return in the morning, clear and whole, but for now it can soften, blur, and drift. Allow this softening. Allow the edges of your identity to stretch into the darkness. Let the story grow quieter. Let the narrator set down its voice. Let yourself rest in the simple feeling of being a warm presence in a quiet room, breathing in rhythm with the night. 6. The body map that keeps you feeling whole. There is a quiet, intricate wisdom woven through your brain, a kind of internal atlas that helps you feel where you are in space even when your eyes are closed and the world is fading into darkness. This map is not drawn on paper or stored in words. It is a living, shifting pattern of signals, tiny pulses traveling through nerves and neurons, painting a moment-to-moment picture of your body from the inside. As you lie here, settling deeper into the stillness around you, this map is silently guiding your awareness, reminding you of the shape of your own body, even as sleep begins to approach. If you close your eyes for a moment, or simply soften them, notice how you can still feel your hands resting beside you without having to look. You know the angle of your limbs, the curve of your spine, the weight of your head against the pillow. This awareness comes from a deep system within the brain that blends touch, movement, and internal sensation into a single unified feeling of "this is my body." It is gentle, continuous, and always present, even when your thoughts are wandering or dissolving into dreams. This body map is one of the quiet guardians of your consciousness, keeping you connected to yourself even in the softest shades of awareness. The body map begins with touch, the faint pressure of fabric against your skin, the warmth of your blanket, the cool brushing of air against your face. Every touch sends a signal inward, traveling through nerves and into regions of the brain that interpret texture, temperature, weight, and movement. These signals gather like tiny threads, weaving a rich tapestry of sensations. You are not consciously aware of each thread, but together they form the soft, comforting awareness of where your body rests in this moment. This awareness can help you relax more deeply because it tells the brain you are safe, supported, and still. Another part of this internal map comes from proprioception, the quiet sense of where your body is positioned in space. Even with your eyes closed, you can sense whether your legs are stretched out or curled, whether your shoulders are tense or relaxed. This sense is like a whisper from inside your muscles and joints, guiding your brain with gentle clarity. When you shift slightly in bed, adjusting to a more comfortable position, proprioception helps you move without overthinking, without needing to consciously plan every small action. It is a soft, internal guide, letting your body settle into a position that feels natural and calm. As sleep approaches, this internal map becomes even more soothing. You may notice your limbs beginning to feel heavier, as though sinking more deeply into the mattress. This heaviness is part of the brain's preparation for rest. The signals that tell your muscles to stay active begin to quiet, allowing your body to drift into stillness. Yet the body map continues to hold you gently, even as your muscles relax. The brain keeps track of your overall position, maintaining a soft awareness that helps you feel grounded and whole. Sometimes, as you relax more deeply, you may feel subtle sensations that seem to expand or distort. Perhaps your hands feel larger than they are, or distant, or warm. These sensations are not unusual. They are signs that the brain's body map is becoming looser, more flexible, preparing itself for the fluid, shifting landscapes of sleep. In dreams, the body map can change entirely. Your limbs may feel weightless, or you may move effortlessly through space, or you may find yourself in a body that feels somewhat different from your waking one. These dream sensations show how adaptable the brain's map can be, reshaping itself as consciousness drifts into new territories. But here, in the quiet borderland before sleep, the body map remains gentle and familiar. It reassures you that you are lying safely in your bed, breathing slowly, surrounded by stillness. If you focus lightly on your breath, the rise and fall, the expansion of your ribs, the softness of your abdomen, you may notice how these sensations anchor you. They tell your brain that you are alive, present, and ready to release the day. The rhythm of breathing is one of the strongest signals feeding into this internal map. Every inhale stretches your chest slightly, sending gentle information upward. Every exhale softens your muscles, letting the shape of your body settle more fully. Even your heartbeat plays a part in this internal awareness. With your attention resting lightly on your chest or your hands, you may feel a faint pulsing, a rhythmic reminder that your body is working quietly, tirelessly for you. This pulse travels not only through your blood vessels but also through the body map itself, a subtle internal drumbeat that reinforces your sense of being whole. You don't need to think about it or control it. It happens on its own, a soft biological rhythm that helps the brain maintain its picture of your body from the inside. As your breathing deepens and your muscles release their last bits of tension, the body map begins to dim slightly. It doesn't disappear, but it becomes less detailed. The edges of your awareness grow softer. Instead of feeling every contour, you may begin to feel your body as a single warm presence, gently weighted against the bed. This shift is part of the transition into sleep, where consciousness pulls back from the detailed physical world and drifts into a quieter, simpler sense of being. You may feel as though your hands and feet are drifting, or your body is expanding outward, or your shape is becoming fuzzy. These sensations are signs that the body map is loosening, allowing you to slip more easily into rest. At the same time, the brain continues to monitor your safety. Even as consciousness fades, the body map remains active enough to alert you if you need to shift position or respond to a sensation. If a blanket feels too warm or a limb is uncomfortable, the brain adjusts you gently without fully waking you. This capacity to stay partly aware while mostly asleep is one of the brain's most protective features. It allows you to rest deeply while still maintaining the ability to move or wake if needed. As you drift further into relaxation, you may find that your awareness of the body becomes spacious, almost transparent. The physical sensations soften into a kind of warm glow, a presence without borders. This is one of the final stages before sleep, when the body map becomes quiet enough to release its hold, yet still present enough to keep you anchored. In this state, the mind no longer needs to track every detail. It simply accepts the overall feeling of comfort, of weight, of warmth. This acceptance is what allows the final transition into sleep to occur. The beauty of the body map is that it holds you gently through every stage of awareness. It grounds you when you are awake, loosens when you are drifting, softens when you are dreaming, and reassembles itself when you return to the morning light. It is one of the most constant companions of your consciousness, silent, reliable, and deeply calming. As you rest here now, breathing softly, notice how this internal map supports you. Notice how it helps you feel the shape of your own presence, even as that shape begins to diffuse into the quiet darkness of sleep. Let your awareness melt into that warm internal landscape. Let your body feel heavy, safe, and whole. Let yourself drift with the slow currents of sensation until the map softens completely and sleep takes its place. 7. How attention turns up the brightness of experience. There is a gentle mechanism within your mind that acts almost like the dimmer switch of a lamp, softening or brightening the world based on where you place your awareness. This mechanism is attention, quiet, subtle, powerful. During the day, it often feels sharp and deliberate, pulling your focus toward tasks, conversations, and responsibilities. But at night, when you lie here in the stillness, letting your thoughts grow soft, attention becomes something calmer, more fluid, more like a drifting beam of light moving slowly through a dark room. By understanding how attention brightens certain experiences and lets others fade into the background, you can begin to feel how your own consciousness gently shifts toward rest. As you relax now, perhaps noticing the weight of your body against the bed or the soft rhythm of your breath, attention is already shifting. Instead of clinging to thoughts or external tasks, it drifts naturally towards sensations, warmth, heaviness, softness. This drifting is not a loss of control, but a natural unwinding. Attention is moving away from the bright, energetic mode of daytime and into the quieter mode of evening, where experiences become less distinct and more blended. This is the beginning of the dimming that allows your mind to transition towards sleep. If you listen carefully to your own inner state, you may feel attention flickering like a candle flame, sometimes focused, sometimes fading, sometimes brightening for a moment before softening again. A part of you may latch onto a thought, then let it go. A fragment of memory may appear, then dissolve without explanation. These shifts are signs that attention is no longer holding the world tightly. It is loosening its grip, allowing sensations to mingle and fade in their own gentle way. During wakefulness, attention makes certain things feel vivid. A sound becomes sharper when you tune into it. A thought gains strength when you dwell on it. Even physical sensations feel brighter when attention rests on them. But when you prepare for sleep, this brightness begins to dim. You might hear a sound, perhaps a faint hum in the distance, and feel it register lightly, then slip away without taking hold. You may have a thought that once would have sparked worry or analysis, but now, because attention is softer, it feels distant and unimportant, like a leaf floating by on a quiet stream. One of the calming truths about attention is that it cannot cling tightly when you allow the mind to rest. Even if a thought tries to take hold, something about tomorrow, something about the day, you might notice that your attention no longer has the energy to follow it. The thought fades, not because you force it to disappear, but because the mind is naturally dimming its brightness. This dimming is one of the signals that your brain is preparing to let you sleep. It is a slow, gentle retreat from the sharp edges of conscious life. Imagine attention as a small lantern held within your mind. During the day, the lantern is bright, illuminating whatever you place it, near tasks, conversations, plans, worries. But at night, that lantern grows dimmer. Its light becomes softer, more diffuse, more warm. It no longer seeks out objects to illuminate. Instead, it simply glows, without direction, without urgency. Everything it touches becomes softer, gentler, quieter, and eventually, as you drift towards sleep, the lantern dims so much that its glow blends with the darkness, allowing the deeper rhythms of the dreaming mind to rise. You may notice that when you bring attention to your breath, something interesting happens. The breath becomes clearer, more vivid. Attention turns up the brightness just enough for you to feel the air entering and leaving your lungs, the gentle movement of your chest, the soft expansion of your body. But if you let your attention soften just a little, the breath continues without needing your involvement. You breathe naturally, effortlessly. The body continues its rhythmic work, and attention drifts away again. This gentle oscillation between noticing the breath and forgetting the breath is another sign of the mind transitioning into a quieter state. As the brightness of attention dims, the boundaries between thoughts and sensations begin to blur. You might feel as though your mind is floating slightly, or your limbs are drifting away from their usual shape. This is not an illusion or mistake. It is the natural softening of attention's grip on the physical world. When attention dims, the brain no longer works to maintain precise boundaries. The sensations of the body merge into a general feeling of warmth, weight, and softness. This blending is deeply relaxing, allowing the body to prepare for the near weightlessness of sleep. You may also notice that sounds take on a new quality. Instead of being sharp or intrusive, they become gentle and distant. A sound that might have caught your attention earlier now feels like part of the background, blending with the quiet atmosphere of the room. This happens because attention no longer snaps toward stimuli. Instead, it floats, allowing sounds to drift through your awareness like soft waves rolling across a calm beach. Even your own thoughts begin to sound different, quieter, slower, less urgent. This softening of attention is deeply connected to the process of falling asleep. When you are fully awake, the brain maintains a bright, focused mode that helps you interact with the world. But as night approaches, the brain shifts naturally into a more diffuse mode. Attention becomes less precise, less anchored. It starts to wander freely, often without your guidance. These wandering moments, when a thought appears and disappears before you can grasp it, are signs that your mind is moving into the threshold between waking and dreaming. Even imagination behaves differently when attention softens. During wakefulness, imagination is often directed. You think deliberately, plan intentionally, visualize with purpose. But in this nighttime softness, imagination begins to take its own shape. You may see brief flickers of images behind your eyelids, not full dreams, but the early sparks of dreaming. These images float up on their own, arriving without intention, guided by the gentle drift of attention. They are part of the mind's quiet transition, preparing you for the dreamscapes that will unfold later in the night. If you observe your attention, gently, not forcing, not controlling, you may feel how it drifts like a feather caught in a slow current of air. It rises, falls, circles softly, then drifts downward again. Sometimes it lands for a moment on a sensation, a memory, or a thought, and then it lifts away. This drifting is peaceful. It requires no effort. It is a sign that you are entering the sweet, fragile borderland of sleep. At this point, you might notice that attention feels almost like it is dissolving. Thoughts may appear in fragments, then fade before completing themselves. Your awareness of the room may flicker. The sense of your body might feel distant or spacious. All of these are gentle signs that the brightness of experience is dimming. Attention no longer holds the world sharply. Instead, it opens into a soft haze, where forms blur and sensations blend. In this haze, sleep becomes easier, because the world within and the world outside no longer compete for clarity. As you breathe slowly, letting the quiet deepen around you, allow attention to dim even further. There is no need to cling to any thought or sensation. Let them drift like clouds, like soft shadows passing over your awareness. Let the brightness fade naturally. Let the lantern's glow soften into the background. The mind knows what to do when attention fades. It knows how to guide you into sleep, how to release you gently into the darkness, how to let dreams rise like warm currents from beneath the surface of your awareness. The beauty of attention is that it does not need pushing. It dims on its own when you allow yourself to rest. So let the brightness soften. Let your awareness flicker like the last glow of twilight. And as it dims, feel how sleep begins to approach, slow and warm, ready to carry you inward. 8. Unconscious processes quietly guiding your day. All through your waking hours, and even now as you sink deeper into rest, there are countless processes unfolding inside you that never rise into awareness. They work silently, gracefully, without asking for your attention. These unconscious processes guide your steps, shape your thoughts, steady your breath, and hold your world together with a softness so natural that you never need to notice it. And as you relax here, perhaps feeling the slow heaviness settling across your body. These hidden processes continue their quiet work, giving you permission to drift into a deeper state of calm. If you place your awareness gently on your breathing, you may feel the slow movement of air entering and leaving your body, but you do not need to direct it. Your breathing has continued all day without your conscious involvement, rising and falling, like the tide, responding to your needs with exquisite sensitivity. When you run, the breath quickens. When you rest, it slows. When you sleep, it becomes rhythmic and deep, like waves sliding across a moonlit shore. This natural rhythm is governed by unconscious systems that have been part of your body since long before you could think, long before you learned your first words. Their quiet reliability is one of the foundations of your existence. You might also notice your heartbeat, perhaps faintly pulsing in your chest or fingertips. This, too, is guided by unconscious intelligence. Your heart adjusts itself moment by moment, speeding up, slowing down, changing the strength of each beat without requiring even a single conscious thought. Whether you are joyful, anxious, relaxed, or drifting off to sleep, your heart responds with silent precision. It communicates constantly with your brain, sending signals upward that shape your emotional state. And the brain returns messages of its own, creating a fluid conversation that continues through the day and into the night, all beneath the surface of your awareness. Even your balance, something you rarely think about, is maintained by unconscious systems that work tirelessly. As you walk, your body adjusts itself hundreds of times in a single moment to keep you upright. Tiny shifts in muscle tone, subtle changes in pressure, constant feedback from your inner ears, all of these unfold without conscious command. And now, as you lie here completely still, those same systems help your body settle into a stable, comfortable position. You do not need to plan how to lie down or how to let your muscles relax. The body knows. It has always known. Throughout your day, the unconscious mind also helps you navigate the world by predicting what will happen next. It watches patterns, remembers details you didn't know you noticed, and prepares responses before you are aware of them. When you reach for a cup, the unconscious mind calculates the distance, weight, and angle. When you listen to someone speak, it fills in gaps in the sound, interprets tone, and predicts meaning. When you take a step, it ensures that your foot lands exactly where it needs to. These processes are so seamless that they feel like part of your conscious will, but they are guided by layers of the mind that work quietly behind the scenes. Even your emotions begin in the unconscious. A tightness in the chest, a quickened breath, a moment of warmth, a sense of calm. These sensations arise before the conscious mind names them. The body feels first, the mind interprets after. This means your emotional life is rooted in the quiet workings of circuits and signals below your awareness, shaping the ebb and flow of how you feel. And as you rest here, letting the day slip away, these signals shift into a calmer pattern. Muscles soften, breath slows, blood pressure drops. Unconsciously, your body is preparing you for sleep. Beneath your thoughts, hidden from awareness, memories are constantly being sorted and organized. Throughout the day, your brain collects information, faces you passed, sounds you heard, words you read, emotions you felt. Only a small fraction becomes conscious memory. The rest is processed, silently, strengthened or discarded based on your needs. And at night, when consciousness begins to fade, these memory systems work even more actively. They replay events, store important details, and weave new experiences into the rich tapestry of who you are. You do not feel this work happening, but it shapes you, gently and profoundly, even as you sleep. If a thought suddenly comes to mind, one you didn't expect or intend, the unconscious mind is the one carrying it forward. It retrieves associations, connects ideas, and presents them to your awareness. Creativity often begins in this hidden space: a melody, a solution, a sentence, a memory. They emerge like small blossoms opening in the dark. The unconscious mind is always processing, always exploring, always preparing the surface of your awareness for the next moment. You experience only the final ripple, not the vast ocean beneath it. One of the most comforting aspects of the unconscious mind is its protective nature. It scans the world for danger, listens for unusual sounds, and monitors your surroundings even while you sleep. If something requires your attention, it signals your brain to wake you. But if everything is safe, it keeps you in rest, guarding your slumber like a quiet, patient sentinel. This protective vigilance allows you to drift without fear, knowing that some deep part of you remains aware enough to respond if needed. Even now, as your thoughts begin to slow and your awareness grows softer, these unconscious systems continue their quiet guidance. They maintain the warmth of your body, regulate your hormones, balance your internal chemistry, and coordinate countless tiny processes that keep you alive. You do not need to think about any of it. The unconscious mind takes care of you with a kind of unconditional steadiness, never asking for recognition, never ceasing its work. As you feel your limbs becoming heavier, sinking more deeply into the mattress, this heaviness itself is shaped by unconscious processes. Muscles loosen their tension. The nervous system reduces its level of alertness. The brain releases chemicals that induce calm. These changes happen without conscious effort. They are signals from the deeper layers of your mind, telling you that it is safe to let go, safe to drift, safe to slip slowly into sleep. You may notice that your thoughts are becoming less structured now. Fragments appear, images flicker, sensations drift through your awareness like slow-moving clouds. This gentle disorganization is also guided by unconscious activity. The brain begins to loosen the tight patterns of daytime thinking, allowing experience to become more fluid. This fluidity is the first step toward dreaming. And the unconscious mind knows exactly how to guide you through this transition. As your body relaxes, the unconscious prepares to take over entirely. During sleep, it will regulate your breathing and heart rate, repair tissues, consolidate memories, and even shape your dreams. It will perform complex work that your conscious mind could never manage. All of this unfolds in perfect silence, allowing you to rest without needing to understand a single detail. There is something deeply peaceful in recognizing that you do not have to control your body or your mind. Everything essential continues without your effort. The unconscious mind supports you, protects you, and guides you, whether you notice it or not. And right now, as you lie here breathing softly, you can allow yourself to trust these processes completely. Let your awareness drift, knowing that the deeper parts of your mind are holding you. Let the last strands of tension dissolve. Let yourself sink into the quiet rhythm of unconscious guidance. The night will carry you the rest of the way. 9. The brain's prediction game and the world you see. As you rest here, letting the gentle quiet of the night settle around you, there is a soft and remarkable truth unfolding inside your mind. Much of what you experience is not simply received from the world, but predicted by your brain moment by moment. Rather than waiting for every detail to arrive through your senses, your brain continuously guesses what is likely to happen next, filling in gaps with an elegance so seamless you rarely notice it. This prediction game is not frantic or analytical. It is smooth, automatic, and deeply calming when understood. It allows you to move through the world with ease. And it continues even now, as your awareness grows softer and sleep begins to approach. If you close your eyes or allow your gaze to soften, notice how your mind still holds a sense of the room around you. You know where the door is, where the window is, where your body rests against the bed. This sense is not coming from your eyes, but from the brain's quiet model of the world, an internal map built from memory, expectation, and the faint touch of sensory input. Your brain fills in these blanks gently, creating a smooth, continuous experience, even in darkness. It predicts what the world should feel like, how your body should lie within it, how the room is shaped. These predictions give you a stable sense of reality, a soft reassurance that the world is still here, even when you cannot see it. During the day, this predictive process helps you navigate movement and thought. When you reach out to pick something up, your brain predicts the weight of the object before you touch it. When you listen to someone speak, it predicts the next sound in the sentence before it arrives. When you walk, it predicts where your feet will land. These predictions are not guesses in the everyday sense. They are gentle anticipations, built from years of experience, allowing life to unfold effortlessly. You rarely notice them because they are so accurate, so smooth, so deeply woven into your awareness. At night, when you lie still and close your eyes, the prediction game changes. Without external demands, without the constant stream of new sights and sounds, the brain softens its predictions. Instead of guessing the next step or anticipating the next sound, it allows thoughts and images to drift with fewer constraints. The world inside becomes more fluid. You may notice stray images or faint colors behind your eyelids. These are the early signs of the mind relaxing its predictions, allowing the boundaries between reality and imagination to blur slightly. This blur is the gentle beginning of dreams. If you allow your awareness to rest lightly on your thoughts, you may notice a subtle looseness. Ideas arise without clear cause. Memories drift through with no particular importance. This looseness mirrors the brain's shift from precise prediction to open wandering. During wakefulness, the brain constantly updates its model of the world, correcting predictions with sensory input. But as you prepare for sleep, sensory input decreases and predictions take on a new flexibility. The mind becomes quieter, less anchored, more willing to follow drifting patterns. This is not a loss of control, it is a natural unwinding, a way of preparing you for the soft, surreal landscapes of dreaming. Even the experience of your own body is shaped by prediction. The brain expects your limbs to feel a certain way, expects your breath to move rhythmically, expects your heartbeat to slow as you rest. When these expectations are met, the body feels calm and familiar. When they shift as they do in the transition to sleep, the brain adjusts its model. This is why you may suddenly feel your body growing lighter or heavier, or as though you are sinking into the bed or floating just above it. These sensations arise because the predictive model is loosening, allowing new, dreamlike interpretations of bodily signals. It is part of the peaceful shift into the twilight space between waking and sleep. Sometimes, as you drift deeper into rest, you may experience a brief sensation of falling, a quick jolt, a sudden drop. This, too, is part of the prediction process. As the brain transitions towards sleep, the systems that track balance and gravity quiet down. When predictions about body position and movement become slightly misaligned, the brain creates a brief corrective signal that feels like falling. It is harmless, simply a moment where anticipation and sensation fail to match, and as quickly as it arrives, it fades, allowing your body to relax again. The world you see during waking life is also shaped by prediction. Your mind smooths out visual noise, fills in missing pieces, and interprets shadows and shapes based on what it expects them to be. This is why you can see a familiar face in dim light, or recognize an object from only a small fragment. It is why a room appears stable, even though your eyes make constant, tiny movements. It is why the world feels continuous, even though your senses provide information that is often incomplete. The brain's predictive brilliance weaves all these fragments into a seamless whole. But prediction is not only about perception. It also shapes your thoughts. When you think about tomorrow, your mind imagines what might happen based on past experience. When you reflect on the day, your mind recreates moments using internal models, smoothing them or reshaping them. Even emotion is shaped by prediction. A calm moment feels calm, partly because the brain predicts calmness and reinforces it, allowing your body to settle into that expectation. As you rest now, sinking into the softness of the night, your brain predicts safety, stillness, comfort, and the body responds, loosening further, breathing more deeply, drifting more gently towards sleep. This predictive nature of the mind has a soothing effect in these quiet hours. It means you do not have to actively track the world. You do not have to hold everything in awareness. The brain holds its gentle model for you, maintaining the sense of a room, a body, a moment. This allows your attention to drift, your thoughts to soften, your awareness to dissolve. Even as consciousness dims, the world remains stable and safe within the mind's quiet predictions. As you breathe slowly, feeling the weight of your body sinking deeper into the bed, allow yourself to trust this predictive wisdom. You do not need to cling to the present moment or follow every thought. The brain already knows how to guide you into sleep. It has done so thousands of times. It will do so again tonight, gently, quietly, naturally. Let the predictions soften. Let the world blur slightly. Let the edges of your awareness drift inward. You are safe, held in the gentle continuity created by the mind's soft anticipations. And as these predictions loosen even further, you will begin to slip into the dream world, a place where the mind's guesses become landscapes, where emotion becomes scenery, where memories blend with imagination. 10. Illusions that show consciousness is constructive. As you rest here, breathing softly and letting the quiet of the night wrap itself around your awareness, there is a gentle truth about your experience that becomes easier to feel. Consciousness is not a passive mirror of the world, but an active, living construction. Every sound you hear, every shape you see, every sensation you feel is shaped by the mind before it reaches your awareness. The world does not simply arrive fully formed. It is assembled softly, moment by moment, through countless small processes that work together like an orchestra playing music too delicate to hear directly. This constructive nature of consciousness becomes especially clear when we look at illusions, those soft, surprising moments when perception reveals its own creative power. An illusion is not a mistake. It is not the mind failing. It is the mind doing what it always does, interpreting, predicting, filling in, smoothing out. In everyday life, these interpretations are so accurate and seamless that you never notice them. But certain gentle illusions reveal the quiet artistry behind your awareness. They show that your brain is not simply receiving reality, but shaping it, guiding it, coloring it with assumptions and expectations shaped by years of experience. And understanding this gentle constructive process can be deeply calming, especially in moments when thoughts soften and you begin drifting towards sleep. If you think of something as simple as looking at a shadow, you may realize how much your brain contributes. A shadow is just an absence of light, yet your mind infers texture, depth, shape, and meaning. In dim light, a coat hanging on a chair might momentarily appear as a person, not because you are confused, but because your brain is predicting what is most likely to be there. These predictions help you navigate the world smoothly, avoiding hesitation and uncertainty. And when the prediction is slightly off, you experience the soft surprise of an illusion, an insight into how active your mind really is. As you lie here now, perhaps with your eyes closed, you may notice the faint shapes behind your eyelids, soft patterns, drifting colors, maybe gentle flickers of light. These are not real images from the outside world, yet they feel like visual experiences because your brain is always ready to create patterns, always ready to turn random signals into something meaningful. Even in darkness, the constructive, the nature of consciousness continues, weaving tiny bits of neural activity into shapes that mimic the world. This tendency shows how deeply perception depends on the mind's inner workings. Consider the familiar experience of hearing your name in a noisy place. Even when the sound is faint or incomplete, your brain fills in the gaps, making you feel certain you've heard something meaningful. This is an auditory illusion, a soft reminder that your mind listens not only to sound, but to expectation. It predicts what is important and shapes your experience accordingly. And now, in this moment of quiet, with the night settling around you, those predictions soften, becoming less urgent, allowing sounds to drift gently through your awareness without needing interpretation. The way you perceive motion also reveals the mind's artistry. When you watch something moving quickly, your brain predicts where it will be in the next instant, smoothing out the movement so it feels continuous. Without this gentle prediction, motion would feel jittery, fragmented, unstable. Your brain blends past and present into a seamless flow, creating the illusion of continuous movement. This blending is so precise and natural that it feels like reality itself. And yet, it is a construction, a quiet collaboration between the world and your mind. Even something as simple as reading reveals how much your brain fills in. Your eyes do not capture each letter fully. Instead, your mind predicts the shapes of words based on context and experience. This is why you can read a sentence, even if some letters are missing or jumbled. The mind smooths out imperfections, crafting coherence from incomplete information. This smoothing is another example of consciousness as a gentle builder, always shaping experience into something meaningful and whole. As you sink deeper into rest, the constructive nature of consciousness becomes even more noticeable. Thoughts may begin to blend with memories in soft, unexpected ways. A faint sound from the room might weave itself into a half-dream. A stray image might appear behind your eyelids, uninvited but gentle. These moments reveal that the mind is always constructing, always painting experience with its own quiet brushstrokes. When the world grows dim and external input fades, the constructive process continues inward, creating the early textures of dreaming. Illusions of time also reveal this hidden artistry. When you are relaxed, like now, time can feel elongated, as though each breath stretches across a quiet expanse. During busy moments, the opposite happens. Minutes pass in a flash. Your brain constructs these sensations of time based on attention, emotion, and expectation. There is no single objective clock inside the mind. Instead, consciousness gently shapes the feel of time based on the moment's rhythm. Right now, as your breath slows and your awareness softens, time becomes more fluid, more spacious, more like a slow-moving tide. The sense of your own body is also crafted in part by illusion. If you pay close attention, you may notice that your limbs feel slightly larger or heavier than they actually are. This is a common nighttime experience, the result of the brain blending sensation with expectation. During wakefulness, the body map is sharp and precise, but as you drift towards sleep, the map becomes more abstract, more fluid, allowing sensations to shift in dreamlike ways. This soft distortion is not a failure of perception, but a gentle sign that the mind is preparing to release its grip on waking reality. Sometimes, you may feel as though your body is swaying, even though you are still. Or you may sense a floating feeling, or a gentle rocking, as though lying on water. These sensations are illusions created by the brain as it transitions into sleep. They reveal the looseness of perception, the way the mind can create movement from stillness, weight from lightness, or expansion from smallness. These illusions are deeply relaxing, a prelude to the full immersion of dreams. One of the most comforting things about illusions is what they reveal about you. They show that consciousness is flexible, creative, capable of shaping its own reality in ways that are usually helpful and smooth. They show that you are not a passive observer, but an active participant in your own experience. And they show that the mind is gentle in its constructions, trying always to create coherence, safety, and meaning. As you breathe softly now, letting your thoughts drift, you may feel the constructive nature of consciousness continuing in the background. The mind fills in gaps, smooths over silences, and prepares the inner world for the descent into sleep. You do not need to guide this process. The mind knows how to loosen its grip, how to let illusions arise without fear, how to transition into dreaming. Allow these gentle constructions to unfold. Let the colors behind your eyelids drift. Let sounds soften and lose their edges. Let the world become fluid. You are entering the phase of night where the constructive power of consciousness becomes even more vivid, where illusions transform into dreams, where expectation becomes story, where memory becomes landscape. 11. Dreams as the brain's night theater. There is a moment, usually so gentle you barely notice it, when consciousness begins to loosen its grip on waking reality and drift into the mysterious world of dreams. It happens softly, like a tide rising slowly around your ankles, warm and quiet, carrying you from the familiar edges of your day into a landscape shaped entirely from memory, imagination, and emotion. As you lie here now, letting the darkness gather around your awareness, you may already feel the earliest traces of this transition, the slight flickering of images behind the eyelids, the melting of thoughts into softer forms, the sense that your mind is beginning to speak in a different language. This language is the language of dreams, and it is one of the most poetic expressions of the brain's inner life. Dreams unfold in the stage of sleep known as REM, rapid eye movement, named for the small darting movements your eyes make beneath your closed lids. But REM sleep is much more than a physical phenomenon. It is a state where the brain becomes vividly alive even as the body rests completely still, where consciousness shifts into a mode that does not need logic or coherence to feel real. The brain, freed from the constant need to process external information, turns inward and begins to create worlds. These worlds are vast, fluid, and deeply personal, shaped not only by the memories you carry, but also by emotions, desires, fears, and hopes that may not reach the surface during waking life. Dreams are sometimes described as the brain's night theater. And this metaphor carries a comforting truth. When you dream, your mind becomes both the playwright and the audience, the painter and the witness. It conjures places that feel alive, streets you've walked before, or streets you've never seen, bathed in the soft glow of imagination. It brings back people you have known, sometimes with perfect clarity, sometimes as shifting reflections. It allows emotions to take form in landscapes and symbols, joy appearing as light, fear as movement, longing as distance. Even when dreams are strange or surreal, they are guided by the quiet intelligence of the mind, expressing truths in a symbolic language your waking self may not fully understand. As your awareness softens, you may feel how different dream consciousness is from wakefulness. In waking life, your mind works to maintain a sense of consistency, to keep thoughts anchored and experiences organized. But in dreams, this anchoring loosens. You become free to move through a world where time bends, where space shifts, where memories blend with imagination. You might be in your childhood home one moment and on a coastline the next. You might speak to someone who appears and disappears like a figure in mist. You might fly without effort, or find yourself observing events from a distance, as though floating through the story. These shifts are not mistakes, they are part of the natural flexibility of the dreaming mind. The emotional richness of dreams arises because, during REM sleep, the brain systems involved in feeling become highly active. Areas that generate emotion glow with activity, while the regions responsible for rational thought become quieter. This balance creates a unique state where feelings can speak directly, unfiltered, by the rules of logic. A simple image in a dream might feel deeply meaningful. A brief interaction might carry weight that stays with you when you wake. This emotional expression is one of the reasons dreams help you process the experiences of your day. They allow feelings to unfold in landscapes where they can be felt fully, even if not consciously understood. The mind's creativity is also at its peak during dreams. Freed from the constraints of physical reality, the brain weaves stories effortlessly. It draws from memories, sometimes recent, sometimes long buried, and blends them with imagination to form new textures. You may dream of a place you visited years ago, yet it appears slightly altered, as if the mind has softened its details and painted over them with new colors. You may dream of conversations that never happened, yet they feel intimately familiar. Dreams show that. Memory is not a rigid archive, but a living, shifting process, constantly shaped by emotion and meaning. And yet, even as dreams unfold in vivid detail, the body remains still. During REM sleep, the brain sends signals that temporarily reduce muscle tone, preventing the body from acting out the movements imagined in dreams. This gentle paralysis is protective, allowing the mind to roam freely while the body rests deeply. You may feel this stillness now, as your limbs grow heavier and your muscles soften. It is a sign that the body is preparing for the dreaming world, creating a safe space for your consciousness to wander. If you pay attention to the sensations at the edge of sleep, you may feel the earliest forms of dreaming beginning to take shape. Thought becomes image, image becomes motion, motion becomes story. These transitions are fluid, almost imperceptible. One moment, you are thinking about the events of your day, and the next you find yourself inside a scene that seems to unfold independently of your will. This threshold is one of the most peaceful moments of consciousness, where the waking mind hands its reins to the dreaming mind with quiet grace. Dreams are not random. They are guided by patterns, emotional residues from the day, unresolved questions, the gentle reorganization of memory. Sometimes, dreams help you rehearse future events, allowing you to practice responses in a safe, symbolic space. Sometimes they help you revisit past moments, softly, reworking them into new forms. And sometimes they serve as a release, letting the mind explore impossible or fantastical scenarios simply because they are free of consequence. In this way, dreams offer the brain a space to play, to heal, to explore. Even when dreams feel strange, they have a deep coherence beneath the surface. They reflect not the logical structure of waking life, but the emotional logic of the inner world. A mountain might represent a challenge. A door might symbolize opportunity or uncertainty. A voice might echo a memory. The dreaming mind speaks in metaphor, weaving meaning into every scene, even if the meaning is subtle and hidden. As you lie here now, drifting slowly toward sleep, it can be soothing to imagine your mind preparing the stage for tonight's dreams. The curtains of awareness are lowering. The lights of thought are dimming. The quiet backstage, activity of memory and emotion, is gathering itself into form. Soon, the theater will open, and you will enter a world shaped entirely from the gentle depths of your consciousness. You do not need to guide this process. You do not need to decide what to dream. The mind will create its own stories, its own images, its own soft landscapes. All you need to do is allow yourself to drift, breathing slowly, letting the edges of awareness blur. Dreams will come naturally, rising from the quiet well of your inner world. 12. Lucid dreams and gentle awareness within sleep. As you settle deeper into the quiet, dark, with the softness of sleep gathering slowly around your thoughts, there is a special and delicate state of consciousness that sometimes appears a state where you are dreaming, yet gently aware of the dream as it unfolds. This is lucid dreaming, a moment when the mind becomes softly lit from within, while the body remains immersed in the deepest rest. It is not a sharp, analytical awareness, but a calm, dreamlike realization, as though a small, warm lantern has been lit in a foggy landscape. In this state, you become both the dreamer and the witness, moving through a world shaped by imagination, while knowing that you are inside it. Lucid dreams do not arise from effort. They blossom naturally, like a moment of clarity drifting across the surface of a still pond. You might be inside a dream, walking down a familiar street, or floating through a quiet forest when something small and gentle catches your attention. A sound that doesn't belong, a shift in the color of the air, a detail that feels slightly too unusual to be real. And in that moment, a soft recognition dawns. This is a dream. The dream continues, but now you move through it with a light awareness, a gentle inner smile, a calm recognition that the world is made of thought and memory, not solid ground. This delicate awareness is made possible by a unique pattern in the brain. During normal dreaming, the regions responsible for self-reflection and reasoning grow quiet, allowing imagination to flow freely. But in a lucid dream, a small portion of these regions awakens, just enough to bring a flicker of awareness into the dream world. Instead, a peaceful blend forms a merging of dreaming consciousness and waking insight. It is like watching clouds pass across a moonlit sky, clear enough to see, soft enough to remain serene. In this state, control is subtle. Some people imagine soaring into the air, or exploring landscapes that shift with each breath, or meeting figures who speak with dreamlike wisdom. But control is not required. In fact, the gentlest lucid dreams are those where awareness is present without force, like drifting through a quiet river, watching its currents with calm curiosity. The dream unfolds naturally, and you simply witness it, floating inside the mind's nighttime theater with a calm, open attention. You may have experienced moments like this before, perhaps without recognizing them as lucid dreams. A dream where you realized softly that you were dreaming, yet chose to remain. A dream where you seemed to narrate your experience as it unfolded. A dream where you paused to look around, noticing details with unusual clarity. These small moments are like windows into the nature of consciousness, a reminder that awareness can take many forms, even blending with the surreal logic of sleep. As you drift closer to sleep now, you may feel your thoughts beginning to loosen, drifting into softer shapes. This loosening is the first step toward the kind of fluid awareness that makes lucid dreaming possible. The mind becomes less rigid, more open to imagery, more willing to let scenes form and reform without judgment. In this softness, the boundaries between self and dream begin to blur, and if a small spark of awareness remains not sharp or tense, but gentle and calm, it may carry you into a lucid dream later in the night. Even if you do not experience lucidity tonight, the understanding of it can soothe you. It shows that consciousness is not confined to wakefulness. It reveals that awareness can flicker on, even in the depths of sleep, rising like a quiet star in the dark. This flexibility is one of the most peaceful aspects of the mind, the ability to drift far from waking reality, yet still hold a soft thread of self-awareness when the conditions are right. The brain's ability to create these states reflects the gentleness of its architecture. Dreams are immersive because sensory areas of the brain become active, simulating sights, sounds, and feelings from within. But the systems that anchor you to the physical world become quiet. In a lucid dream, these two systems overlap just enough for the dream to feel both immersive and illuminated. You might feel the softness of imagined grass beneath your feet, or the warmth of sunlight that exists only in your mind. You might hear voices that echo from memory, or feel the gentle movement of floating through space. And all the while, a part of you watches with awareness, a quiet presence, observing the unfolding scene. Lucid dreams are not about taking control. They are about experiencing the mind's natural creativity with a bit more clarity. They offer a glimpse into the inner workings of consciousness, revealing how easily the brain can create worlds that feel real. They show that identity, perception, and reality itself are more fluid than they seem. This realization is not unsettling. It is comforting, especially in moments of quiet like this. It means that you can let go of the day's worries. The mind knows how to guide itself, how to create and dissolve experiences with gentle ease. Sometimes, lucid dreams arise in moments of emotional need. The mind may create a scene that soothes you, a place where you feel safe, or a reunion with someone you miss. In lucid awareness, these moments can feel deeply meaningful, offering comfort from places that waking reality cannot reach. And when you awaken, the memory lingers like the soft fragrance of a flower carried briefly on the wind, gentle, ephemeral, yet nourishing. Even without lucidity, dreams can bring healing. But lucid dreams offer a special kind of clarity, a peaceful reminder that you are more than your waking thoughts. You are a fluid mind capable of expanding and contracting, of drifting and observing, of dreaming with awareness. This understanding can bring a sense of ease as you prepare for sleep. It encourages you to release your grip on the day, trusting that the night will bring its own beauty and wisdom. As your body grows heavier and your breathing evens out, you may feel yourself approaching that subtle border where dreams begin to form. Let your awareness soften. Let thoughts drift. Let images rise and fall without effort. If a gentle spark of clarity appears, let it glow softly. If it fades, let it fade. The night will carry you where you need to go. 13. The mystery of anesthesia and reversible unconsciousness. There is a gentle mystery that lies at the intersection of medicine and the mind, a quiet doorway through which consciousness can pass and later return, unchanged yet somehow renewed. This doorway is anesthesia, a state where awareness recedes, not because of sleep, not because of dreaming, but because certain patterns in the brain are softened, muted, or temporarily stilled. As you rest here now, allowing the darkness around you to deepen, reflecting softly on this phenomenon can be soothing. It reveals something comforting about consciousness, that it can be set down for a while, like a lantern placed on a windowsill, and then lifted again when the moment is right. To understand anesthesia, imagine the mind as a vast landscape of communication. Throughout the day, signals travel across this landscape, tiny pulses of electricity flowing along intricate pathways, creating thoughts, sensations, memories, and the quiet sense of being awake. These signals form patterns, rhythms, and connections that weave together into the experience of consciousness. But when anesthesia begins to take effect, these patterns change. The pathways that allow different regions of the brain to communicate begin to slow. The rhythms that support awareness become less synchronized. The landscape grows quieter, as though a soft snow has begun to fall, muffling all sound. Unlike sleep, where consciousness travels through gentle stages, light drifting thoughts, then deeper waves, then dreams, anesthesia creates a more immediate shift. It is as though a curtain is drawn softly across the mind, lowering the brightness of awareness until it rests in darkness. There may be no transition you can remember, no images, no thoughts. One moment you are present, and the next you awaken, with time feeling as though it has been folded or erased. This smooth disappearance and reappearance of consciousness reveals that awareness is something the brain can let go of temporarily, without losing its essence. It can be soothing to reflect on how safe and reversible this process is. The agents used in anesthesia work gently, influencing certain chemical signals in the brain that control communication between neurons. These changes make it harder for the mind to create the coherent patterns required for awareness, but the structure of the brain remains intact. The connections that form your sense of self, your memories, your emotional life, all remain quietly preserved, like books stored safely on their shelves while the lights are momentarily turned off. When the effects fade, the lights slowly come back on, and the mind resumes its delicate work, as if waking from a deep, quiet pause. There is something profoundly peaceful about this. It shows that consciousness is not a fragile flame that must always be tended. It can be dimmed and rekindled without harm. It can rest. It can disappear from awareness while the body undergoes healing or repair. And when it returns, it carries with it the same gentle sense of continuity, the same feeling of being you. The brain knows how to restore its rhythms, reawaken its networks, and bring the soft glow of awareness back into place. If you think of a time when you have been under anesthesia, you may remember how strangely calm the experience felt. In retrospect, you may recall being asked to breathe deeply, or hearing a voice saying something reassuring. You may remember a slight heaviness in your limbs, or a warmth spreading through your body. And then you may remember waking, perhaps in a different room, with time having flowed underneath you like a quiet river you never saw. This absence of experience is not frightening when reflected upon gently. It feels more like stepping outside of time for a while, letting the deeper layers of the body take care of themselves. Anesthesia also reveals something profound about the brain's architecture, that consciousness depends not on a single structure, but on the harmony between many regions. These regions must communicate clearly, like musicians in an orchestra. When anesthesia softens their communication, the music of awareness fades, but the musicians remain. When the signals return, the music begins again. This analogy can be deeply comforting, especially now, as you lie here drifting deeper into rest. It suggests that your awareness, too, can fade gently through sleep, through dreaming, yet return with clarity when needed. There is also a beautiful parallel between anesthesia and certain meditative states. In deep meditation, the activity of some regions of the brain quiets, allowing the mind to rest in a peaceful, spacious state. You remain aware, but the chatter of thought softens. In anesthesia, the quieting goes further, guiding you into a state where awareness itself dissolves. Yet both states share a sense of letting go, a release of effort, a surrender to something larger. Thinking about this can help you ease your own awareness into rest tonight, letting your thoughts loosen, allowing your mind to drift without needing to hold on to anything. As your body becomes heavier, sinking more comfortably into your bed, you may notice how the boundary between wakefulness and sleep begins to blur. This transition can feel a little like the early moments of anesthesia, not in intensity, but in quality. Thoughts become softer. Sensations grow warm and diffuse. Time stretches gently. You may feel as though you are floating, or sinking, or drifting in a quiet space within your mind. These sensations are simply signs that your brain is dimming the brightness of awareness, preparing you for the deep, healing rest of sleep. In the quietude of night, reflecting on anesthesia can reassure you that letting go of awareness is safe. The mind knows how to fade gently, how to slip into darkness without fear, how to return to the soft light of morning. The processes that guide this transition have been refined through your entire life. They are natural, automatic, and deeply comforting to understand. You do not need to hold on to consciousness tightly. You can let it soften. You can let it go. There is a tenderness in the way anesthesia reveals the resilience of consciousness. It shows that awareness can disappear without breaking. It can go silent without losing itself. And just as anesthesia allows the body to heal, sleep allows the mind to restore, cleanse, and reshape itself. As you lie here now, you are approaching that gentle rest. You are letting your awareness dim, letting your body soften, letting your mind drift into the quiet spaces where healing happens. 14. Quiet minds in meditation. There is a soft and ancient art woven into the way humans have learned to soothe their minds. Long before modern science could describe the patterns of the brain or capture its gentle rhythms. This art is meditation, a deliberate quieting, a patient settling, a slow return to the simple feeling of being. And as you lie here now, perhaps already drifting towards sleep, the qualities of meditation can be felt in your own softening awareness. The mind loosens, thoughts lengthen, the breath becomes a steady companion. It is in this quiet inner space, so close to rest, that meditation reveals its kinship with the calming processes of the sleeping mind. Meditation does not require sitting upright or focusing with intense discipline. At its heart, it is simply the practice of noticing, of letting the mind settle into itself the way sediment settles to the bottom of a still pond. When the water stills, you can see through it clearly. When the mind stills, you can feel the spaciousness beneath your thoughts. You may already be drifting into that spaciousness now, sensing how thoughts come and go like soft currents, how awareness spreads gently through your body, how your breathing becomes quieter without your effort. This softening is the essence of meditation. During the day, the mind often feels like a busy marketplace, voices mingling, footsteps echoing, new impressions arriving constantly. But when you meditate, or even when you adopt a meditative posture of mind, this marketplace slowly empties. Sounds remain, thoughts remain, emotions remain, but they lose their urgency. They become like distant lanterns in a wide landscape, glowing softly without demanding your attention. As you sink deeper into rest, your inner world may already be taking on this quality. Spacious, quiet, open. Meditation invites you to rest within that openness, without needing to change anything at all. Breathing plays a central role in this transition. With each inhale, there is a rising, a soft expansion. With each exhale, a gentle release, a letting go. When we meditate, we place a light awareness on this rhythm, not to control it, but to rest in it. As you listen to your own breath now, you may feel how naturally soothing it is. The breath flows at its own pace, steady and calm, like a tide brushing the shore. In meditation, this rhythm becomes an anchor, not because you cling to it, but because it is always there, always offering its quiet reassurance. Even in the moments when your mind drifts, the breath waits patiently for your return. What makes meditation so Calming is not the absence of thought, but the change in how thoughts are held. In meditation, thoughts lose their weight. They come, they float, they dissolve. You do not need to wrestle with them or follow them. You simply observe them the way you might watch clouds passing across a pale sky. Some clouds are bright, some dark, some heavy, some light, yet all move gently, and none stay for long. As you lie here preparing for sleep, your thoughts may already feel like these drifting shapes, soft, slow, unhurried. This drifting is not a distraction. It is part of the mind's natural quieting. Meditation also softens the sense of self. During busy hours, the self feels like a firm center, a steady narrator guiding your day. But in meditation, the narrator grows quieter. The sense of I becomes less sharp, more like a warm presence than a precise boundary. You might feel yourself expanding slightly, as though your awareness fills the room around you. Or you might feel yourself shrinking gently inward, like a small flame resting at the center of your chest. Both are valid. Both are peaceful. Meditation does not demand a particular form of the self. It simply loosens it, allowing you to rest without the usual pressure of identity. Scientific studies have shown that during meditation, certain networks in the brain become calm, the very networks associated with self-referential thinking, planning, and worrying. Other networks, those involved in sensory awareness, breathing, and bodily presence, become more active. The result is a shift from thinking about life to simply experiencing it. When this shift deepens, many people describe feeling a sense of spaciousness, as though the mind has opened into a wide, gentle field. You may feel this spaciousness now, a soft expansion behind the eyes or in the chest, a widening silence in which your thoughts move lightly. Meditation also influences the rhythm of your brainwaves. During wakefulness, especially when focusing or multitasking, the brain produces fast, busy patterns. But in meditation, these patterns slow. They lengthen into gentler waves, alpha waves, then theta waves, similar to the ones that appear as you drift toward sleep. This is one reason meditation and drowsiness feel so alike. Both involve a softening of mental structure, a calming of inner noise, a quiet unfolding toward states of deeper rest. You may already feel these rhythms settling over you like a soft blanket. As your awareness continues to drift, you might notice moments of clarity, brief, quiet expanses where thought pauses and the mind simply rests. These pauses are natural. They are the spaces in which meditation blossoms. They need no effort, no concentration. They appear when the mind stops pushing and begins to float. These gaps between thoughts are gentle invitations to rest more deeply, to let go of the day, to allow sleep to approach without resistance. Meditation also teaches the mind to befriend stillness. Stillness can feel unusual during busy hours, but at night, it becomes a balm. The body lies quiet, the breath moves softly, the room is calm, and within you, a matching stillness grows. This stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness without noise, like the quiet surface of a lake reflecting moonlight. In this stillness, awareness begins to fold inward, becoming softer, warmer, and more drowsy. Meditation simply encourages this folding, guiding the mind toward its natural resting place. One of the most comforting aspects of meditation is the sense of safety it brings. When the mind slows and the breath deepens, the nervous system shifts toward calm. Muscles relax, the heart finds a soft, steady rhythm, the body's signals of tension dissolve. And as this happens, the mind realizes it is safe to let go, to loosen its hold on thought, to release its grip on awareness, to surrender to the gentle pull of sleep. This surrender is not a fall but a glide, a quiet drifting like a feather settling through still air. As you rest here, you may notice how meditation and sleep share a single path, one that begins with letting go of thoughts, letting go of expectations, letting go of the need to remain alert. Meditation prepares you for this release. It teaches the mind that it is okay to quiet itself, that rest is not a failure of awareness, but a natural expression of it. You can feel this lesson in your body now, as warmth spreads through. Your limbs and your thoughts soften into a gentle blur. Meditation, at its core, is a return to the simple act of being alive. Not thinking, not remembering, not planning, but simply existing in the soft glow of awareness. And sleep is another form of that return, a deeper one, where awareness gives itself fully to rest. As you move closer to sleep, you may feel gratitude for the softness of this transition, for the quiet stability of your breath, for the gentle rhythms of your mind. Allow yourself to sink into this meditative quiet. Let your breath cradle you. Let your thoughts drift like petals on still water. Let your consciousness soften into a warm, expansive silence. 15. Animal consciousness and familiar minds in other bodies. There is a gentle comfort in remembering that we are not alone in the experience of awareness. All around us, woven through forests, oceans, deserts, and even our homes, countless creatures carry their own small lanterns of consciousness, each glowing with a slightly different hue, each shaped by a different way of sensing the world. As you lie here now, letting your breath soften and your thoughts drift, it can be soothing to imagine the quiet, diverse tapestry of minds that surrounds us. Minds that are not human, yet familiar in a way that touches something deep and ancient within us. When we speak of animal consciousness, we are speaking of the simple feeling of being alive, the awareness that arises in birds as they tilt their heads, in cats as they settle into warmth, in dolphins as they glide through vast underwater spaces. These beings may not reflect on their existence the way humans do, but they feel, they perceive, they remember, they carry an inner life. And this inner life, though different from ours, shares the universal thread of awareness. It is this thread that connects us, quietly and beautifully, to the living world. Imagine, for a moment, a small bird perched on a branch just before dawn. The world is dim, the air cool. The bird tilts its head, listening to the soft sounds of the approaching morning. In that simple act, listening, sensing, waiting there, is consciousness. Not the busy, narrative consciousness of human thought, but a gentle, immediate awareness of sound, air, and motion. The bird does not need to name these sensations. They simply arise within its experience. This presence, raw and uncomplicated, mirrors the kind of awareness you feel as you drift towards sleep, when thoughts soften, labels fade, and there is only sensation, only the quiet feeling of being. Or imagine a deer standing at the edge of a forest, pausing as the wind shifts. Its ears twitch, its muscles soften or tense based on subtle cues carried through the air. The deer is guided by a consciousness tuned to survival, shaped by generations of experience. Yet within that survival instinct lies something tender, awareness of its body, awareness of the prior environment, awareness of the moment. This is another kind of mind, one that does not speak, does not analyze, but knows deeply through sensation. There is a kinship in that, a reminder that awareness does not depend on words or concepts. It is something far more ancient. Many animals experience emotions too, though expressed in ways different from our own. A dog may wag its tail in joy, whine in loneliness, or press close for comfort. A horse may nuzzle gently when it feels trust. Even small creatures, mice, rabbits, birds, show patterns of curiosity, fear, affection. These emotions arise from the same biological roots as our own. The brain structures that allow you to feel warmth or anxiety or comfort are mirrored in simpler forms across much of the animal world. This continuity of feeling suggests that consciousness is not an isolated human phenomenon, but a shared, evolutionary inheritance, blooming differently in every species. Consider the octopus, a creature whose intelligence glows in quiet, unexpected ways. With its flexible body and distributed nervous system, the octopus experiences the world in a way that is almost unimaginable to us. Each arm carries its own sensory awareness, yet all of them work together to form a single fluid consciousness. When an octopus explores a coral reef, its awareness moves through the water like a slow pulse, touching textures, tasting chemicals, responding instantly to light and shadow. This kind of mind reminds us that consciousness is not limited to familiar forms. It can arise in bodies that stretch, swim, crawl, or glide, yet remain united by the feeling of being alive. Even creatures much smaller, bees, fish, small mammals, display forms of awareness that resonate with our own. Bees navigate vast distances, recognize patterns, communicate through movement. Fish learn routes, remember safe spaces, respond to novelty with curiosity. These acts require some form of conscious presence, even if simple. When you observe these creatures, it becomes clear that consciousness is not a sharp boundary, but a gradient, a spectrum that stretches across life, becoming more complex in some places and simpler in others. And then there are animals whose consciousness mirrors ours, with striking closeness: primates, elephants, dolphins, and certain birds. These creatures show signs of memory, planning, problem-solving, even grief. They form bonds, protect one another, and sometimes seem to reflect on their own experiences. Elephants have been seen lingering quietly around the bones of their deceased. Dolphins respond to their reflections in mirrors, recognizing themselves. Some birds remember the locations of thousands of hidden seeds, relying on a memory that reflects a rich internal world. These glimpses remind us that consciousness is not a human invention, but a universal phenomenon shaped by evolution. What is most soothing about contemplating animal consciousness is the sense of connection it brings. Life does not unfold inside separate bubbles. It flows across the world in countless forms, each shaped by the body that houses it, your consciousness. Resting now in the quiet of the night is part of this larger network of awareness. The same soft glow that lets you feel your breath, your body, your thoughts is present in its own way in the animals that share this planet. Their minds are smaller or larger, quieter or louder, simpler or more complex, but all part of the same living tapestry. As you breathe softly now, you might imagine these various forms of consciousness as gentle lights scattered across the earth, some bright, some dim, all flickering with their own rhythms. A fox padding through snow, guided by scent. A whale drifting through deep water, guided by sound. A small insect feeling the warmth of the sun on its body. All of these are forms of awareness, local, immediate, pure. And in reflecting on them, your own awareness may feel quieter, more grounded, more at peace. This reflection gently softens the idea that the self is separate. It reveals that consciousness is not confined to the human mind, but shared in countless ways, across the branches of life. And this realization can be deeply calming. It brings a sense of belonging, a sense that awareness is part of something larger, something ancient and continuous. As you drift deeper into rest, you may feel a quiet kinship with the living world, a sense that you, too, are a creature held within its rhythms. breathing softly in the dark. Let this thought soothe you. Let it remind you that awareness is not fragile, not isolated, but part of the same gentle phenomenon that moves through forests, oceans, and skies. You are resting within a world full of minds, full of living presence, full of soft moments of consciousness unfolding quietly in countless bodies. 16. Time feels different inside your awareness. There is a soft strangeness in the way time moves within the mind, especially as you settle into the quiet hours of night. Time, which, during the day, seems firm and structured, becomes fluid in the stillness of inner experience. Minutes stretch or fold, moments linger or melt away, and the steady ticking of clocks fades into something far more gentle, an internal rhythm shaped not by numbers but by awareness itself. As you lie here breathing, slowly, you may already feel this shift, the sense that time has loosened its grip, that each moment is unfolding with a softness that invites rest. During wakefulness, the mind measures time through activity. Thoughts move quickly, responsibilities demand attention, and the flow of experience becomes segmented into tasks, conversations, and decisions. But as your awareness begins to quiet, the edges of these segments blur. The mind stops tracking events so precisely. It stops counting minutes. It stops measuring progress. Instead, it sinks into a more fluid state, where one moment blends seamlessly into the next. This fluidity is one of the gentle invitations towards sleep, a sign that consciousness is preparing to release the structured world of daytime. If you bring your attention lightly to your breath, you may notice how each inhale feels spacious, stretching beyond the boundaries of a single second, and how each exhale seems to drift longer than expected. The breath creates its own rhythm, slow and natural, allowing time to flow in waves rather than in steps. Inhale, and time expands. Exhale, and time softens. This expansion and contraction mirror the way the five mind feels at night, free of the fast, busy rhythms that define your waking hours. Memories of certain moments may come to mind now, perhaps small scenes from your day, or distant moments from years ago. Notice how these memories feel layered, not arranged in strict order, but drifting across your awareness in a soft, non-linear dance. The mind does not replay life like a timeline. It drifts through memory, like moving through a quiet gallery, stopping where the light feels gentle, passing by where the colors feel dim. This drifting shows how time lives inside consciousness, not as a straight line, but as a series of floating islands, connected by feeling rather than by sequence. Even during the day, the mind alters the pace of time based on emotion. Beautiful moments, sunlight on water, laughter with someone you love, the warmth of a quiet morning seem to stretch, filling your awareness with a slow, peaceful glow. Moments of stress or busyness, by contrast, seem to pass in a blur. Hours vanish, days rush. But here, at night, these emotional accelerations fade. The mind enters a more neutral, gentle rhythm, letting time unfold evenly, like ripples spreading across still water. As you drift deeper into rest, you might feel how time becomes even softer. Thoughts may slow until they feel almost suspended in warmth. You may forget whether a moment lasted a few seconds or a few minutes. This is not confusion, it is the natural easing of awareness. The mind is withdrawing from the structures that help you navigate the outer world and settling into the rhythms of the inner world, where time is measured by sensation rather than by clocks. In this inner world, warmth feels like a moment. Stillness feels like a moment. A drift of thought feels like a moment. All moments become equal. If you have ever noticed that falling asleep feels instantaneous, that one moment you remember, and then suddenly you wake to morning light, this too is shaped by the mind's relationship with time. When consciousness fades, time ceases to be measured. Minutes and hours become weightless. The brain continues its quiet work, repairing, dreaming, rejuvenating, but the sense of passing time disappears. You do not experience the night as a long stretch. Instead, it feels like a gentle blink, a soft transition between yesterday and today. Dreams reveal this fluidity even more vividly. In dreams, time stretches and folds without resistance. A single dream may seem to span hours, years, or moments. You may move from one place to another instantly, or relive a memory in a way that feels timeless. Events unfold with emotional significance, but without the constraints of chronological order. This dreamlike experience shows that time inside awareness is not a fixed landscape but a shifting one, shaped by imagination and feeling. Even a single sensation, warmth, fear, longing, can stretch a dream moment into what feels like a long and vivid experience. As you rest now, allow yourself to feel how time slows when you release effort. Notice how the rhythm of your breath feels full, spacious, how the room around you seems to settle into a quiet stillness, how your thoughts move with the pace of drifting leaves. This slowing is not something you need to force. It happens naturally when the mind stops gripping the demands of the day. You can feel this loosening, a soft unraveling of urgency, a gentle widening of inner space. The night encourages this softening. Darkness removes visual cues that anchor your sense of duration. Quiet removes auditory signals that divide time. Stillness removes the physical movements that mark one moment from the next. In this sensory softness, time is left to your awareness alone, and awareness, when relaxed, prefers to stretch time into long, gentle breaths. This is one reason lying in darkness feels calming. The world stops reminding you of minutes and hours, and the mind begins to settle into the slow rhythm of existence. Even anticipations soften now. The future shrinks to the next breath, the next shift of warmth across your skin. The past dissolves into soft memory, fragments. The present becomes a field of sensation, breathing, heaviness, quiet. This narrowing into the present moment is deeply soothing. It is the natural flow of consciousness preparing for sleep. When you are fully present with your breath, your warmth, your stillness, time itself seems to pause. There is no need to remember or to plan. There is only the gentle unfolding of now. As sleep approaches, awareness flickers between moments of clarity and brief lapses where thought dissolves. These small lapses are the mind releasing its grip on time. Each lapse is like a tiny doorway into a dreamlessness, followed by a return. You may not notice these transitions clearly, but you may feel their softness, the sensation of drifting, of floating, of being carried. This drifting is time loosening its boundaries within you. The deeper you move into this softness, the more fluid time becomes. And eventually, as you slip into sleep, time recedes completely. Hours may pass without a single conscious moment, and you awaken feeling as though only a gentle instant has gone by. This is the beauty of the resting mind, its ability to let time go completely, to drift into a place where only restoration remains, where the linear world softens into a quiet expanse. So as you lie here now, feel the slowing, feel the soft stretching of each breath, the quiet lengthening of each moment. Let time loosen its definition. Let your awareness dissolve gently into a warm, unstructured flow. Let yourself drift into the fluidity that leads towards sleep. 17. Hypnagogia, the drifting edge of sleep. There is a tender, fleeting landscape that appears only for a few moments each night, a place where waking and dreaming overlap, where the edges of consciousness become soft and fluid, where thoughts dissolve into images. and images melt into sensations. This in-between state is called hypnagogia, and it is one of the most delicate experiences the mind can offer. You may have passed through it thousands of times without noticing, for it lasts only as long as a few breaths, yet it is filled with quiet wonder. As you lie here now, letting your awareness dim and your body sink into stillness, you may already be drifting toward this gentle threshold. Hypnagogia arrives not with a sudden shift but with a soft unraveling. Thoughts that once felt solid begin to loosen their edges, blurring. The mind becomes more fluid, more imaginative, more willing to let go of structure. A thought about your day may stretch into an image, a place, a face, a hallway you don't remember walking through. That image might then shift into a brief scene, vivid for a moment and then gone, like a spark of light drifting across your inner vision. These small, drifting experiences are the early signs of hypnagogia, arriving quietly as your brain transitions out of wakefulness. As this transition deepens, the senses soften. You may feel warmth spreading across your body or a gentle sensation of floating. Sometimes there is a sensation of rocking, as though you are lying on a slow-moving boat. Sometimes there is a sense of expanding, as if your awareness is widening beyond the limits of your body. These sensations are natural. They arise because the brain is relaxing its grip on the body map, allowing perception to become more fluid. In this loosened state, the boundaries between sensation and imagination blur, making room for experiences that feel both dreamlike and real. Images often appear in hypnagogia with surprising clarity, small flashes of light, shifting colors, geometric patterns, or brief glimpses of unfamiliar places. They arise without intention, without control, like fragments of a dream forming before the dream fully begins. You might see a face that feels familiar but unplaceable. You might glimpse a landscape for a fraction of a second before it fades. These images do not need interpretation. They are simply the mind's way of reorganizing perception, letting creativity take over as the conscious mind retreats. Sounds may also appear: soft murmurs, faint music, distant voices that seem to come from nowhere. These auditory hallucinations are gentle and usually short-lived, lasting only as long as a single breath. They occur because the brain's auditory centers remain partly active even as the mind begins to dream. In this state, the brain may generate sounds the same way it generates images in dreams. These sounds are harmless, arising spontaneously from the drifting layers of consciousness. Hypnagogia may also bring sudden, dreamlike thoughts, ideas that feel vivid and meaningful for a moment, even if they make no sense in waking life. A sentence may form in your mind without logic. A phrase might repeat itself softly. A memory may blend with imagination, creating something entirely new. These thoughts reflect the mind's shift from linear thinking to associative thinking, where ideas connect fluidly and unexpectedly. This shift is part of the gentle unwinding that prepares you for sleep, allowing the mind to explore new paths before full dreaming begins. Sometimes the body creates small, involuntary movements known as hypnic jerks. These sudden twitches or jolts often feel like falling or stumbling, briefly pulling you back toward wakefulness. These sensations are natural and occur because the brain is adjusting the balance between wakeful muscle control and the relaxed paralysis of sleep. As the mind enters hypnagogia, the body's systems begin to change their rhythms, and these small jolts are simply part of that transition. They may feel surprising, but they are harmless, quickly passing as the body settles again into stillness. In this in-between state, time often feels distorted. You may feel as though you were drifting for several minutes when only seconds have passed. Or you may feel a brief image linger as though it were part of a longer scene. This gentle distortion reflects the the brain's shifting relationship with time as awareness loosens. The strict structure of waking time begins to dissolve, replaced by a fluid sense of moments unfolding without clear boundaries. Hypnagogia also reveals something profound about consciousness, that it does not simply turn off when you fall asleep. Instead, it dissolves gradually, with moments of awareness drifting in and out, like waves washing over the shore. You may find yourself half awake, half dreaming, watching images appear behind your eyelids. You may feel thoughts echo softly before fading. You may experience sensations that feel both physical and imagined. All of these are signs that your mind is gently handing control to the dreaming world, allowing the deeper layers of consciousness to rise. What makes hypnagogia especially calming is the lack of effort required. You do not need to guide it or shape it. It unfolds naturally as the mind releases its grip on the day. You can simply watch the drifting images or feel the soft sensations without needing to hold on to any of them. Each one is like a small leaf floating across a quiet stream, beautiful in its movement, yet destined to drift away. You may notice one image or sensation, and then realize moments later that it has already passed. This drifting is the mind's gentle way of preparing you for the deeper rest of sleep. In this threshold state, the sense of self softens further. The inner narrator becomes faint. Thoughts no longer carry the weight of identity. Instead, you feel yourself becoming more diffuse, more spacious, more like a quiet presence than a defined self. This softening is essential for sleep, allowing the mind to slip out of the protagonist role and into a state where awareness can fade without fear. You may feel yourself becoming less anchored to your body, as though floating lightly within a warm, dark space. This sensation is the mind's way of opening the door to dreams. Hypnagogia is the final, fragile bridge between wakefulness and sleep, a place where awareness still glows faintly, even as the dreaming mind stirs. It does not last long, only a few breaths, a handful of heartbeats, but it carries a sweetness that lingers. It is the moment when the mind lets go of control, when the body settles into complete stillness, when imagination begins to take form. It is the softest entry into the world of dreams. As you rest here now, feel yourself drifting toward this gentle edge. Let your thoughts loosen. Let your breath slow. Let the images behind your eyelids form and fade without effort. Allow yourself to glide into the quiet, shifting landscape of hypnagogia, knowing that it will carry you naturally toward the deeper, dream-filled waters of sleep. 18. The brain that can watch itself. There is a quiet capacity within your mind that feels almost like a soft inner gaze, a gentle ability to observe your own thoughts, sensations, and emotions without becoming tangled in them. This is metacognition, the awareness of awareness itself, and it is one of the most delicate and remarkable features of consciousness. As you lie here now, sinking deeper into rest, this reflective ability becomes even clearer in its gentleness. You can sense thoughts drifting by, yet you remain separate from them. You can feel your breath rising and falling, yet part of you simply watches, quietly and peacefully, like a small lantern glowing in the stillness of your mind. Metacognition does not require effort. It does not require analysis or judgment. It arises naturally, especially in the quiet moments before sleep, when the day's noise has softened and your inner landscape has opened into spacious calm. In these moments, the mind can simply observe itself, its drifting patterns, its subtle sensations, its soft, dissolving thoughts with a kind of compassionate distance. This inner witnessing reveals that you are not limited to the flow of thought. You are also the space in which thought appears. If you turn your attention inward, gently, you may feel this observing quality even now. You might notice a thought beginning to form, then fading before it completes itself. You might feel a sensation in your body, warmth, heaviness, softness, and then feel how your awareness moves around it without attachment. You might hear a faint sound in the room and notice how your mind registers it before letting it go. This noticing of noticing is metacognition. It is the mind gently illuminating itself, like a candle reflecting in a quiet pool. Throughout your day, this reflective capacity helps you navigate life with clarity. It allows you to pause before acting, to recognize emotions rising within you, to understand the difference between what you feel and what you are. But at night, when the mind is preparing to release its grip on consciousness, metacognition becomes softer, slower, more dreamlike. It does not analyze. It simply watches the mind settle, the way one might watch leaves falling gently in a dark, calm forest. This watching creates a sense of depth, as though your awareness is expanding into a wider, quieter space. As thoughts flow through your mind now, thoughts about the day, or small memories, or faint impressions, you may sense that another part of you is watching them drift, not evaluating them, not trying to hold on to them, but simply noticing they are there. This separation between the content of the mind and the awareness of the mind is one of the great soothing qualities of consciousness. It allows you to feel that you are not defined by your thoughts. You are the space that holds them, the quiet presence beneath them. Metacognition becomes especially apparent in moments of stillness, when you are not occupied with tasks, when you are not talking or analyzing. The mind has room to observe its own patterns. You may find yourself thinking, "I am feeling calm now," or "My breath feels slow," or "My mind is drifting towards sleep." These small, reflective thoughts arise naturally, showing that you can be aware of your experience as something unfolding gently within you, not something you must control. This awareness creates a sense of peace, a soft inner distance that eases the transition into sleep. Even the awareness of drowsiness is a form of this quiet self-watching. You might feel your thoughts growing fuzzy, your attention slipping, your limbs becoming heavy. You notice these changes happening, yet you do not try to stop them. You watch them as a calm observer, knowing they signal the mind's gradual release into the deeper stages of rest. This watching is not effortful. It is a gentle accompaniment, like walking alongside someone you trust as they settle into sleep. This reflective capacity also appears in dreams, especially in lucid dreams, where a small spark of self-awareness lights up the dreaming mind. Even in those surreal landscapes, metacognition allows you to recognize that you are dreaming. It reveals that awareness can persist in subtle, shifting forms across the boundary between wakefulness and sleep. And even if you do not become lucid, the faint awareness of observing your dreams, recognizing their emotional tones, noticing their transitions, shows that metacognition continues quietly in the background of the dreaming mind. As you continue to relax, you may feel this inner watcher growing softer, more diffused, as though it is merging with the very space of your awareness. Instead of feeling like a separate perspective, it becomes a gentle openness, a wide, calm field in which all thoughts and sensations rise and fall like ripples on a lake. This openness is one of the most peaceful states the mind can enter. It carries no effort, no tension, no need to focus. It simply rests in being. There is also a deep tenderness in the way metacognition can soothe the mind. When you notice a thought with gentle awareness, the thought loses its urgency. When you observe an emotion with softness, the emotion loses its weight. When you witness your own drifting mind without resistance, it drifts even more easily. This is why the observing mind is such a powerful companion for sleep. It creates space around your experience, easing the pressure of thought, allowing everything within you to settle. You may feel now how this space is widening. Thoughts are becoming quieter, emerging less frequently. Sensations soften as your body drifts deeper into heaviness. The mind is dimming its lights, preparing to surrender to the dark warmth of sleep. Yet some small ember of awareness remains, watching softly, ready to fade when the moment is right. This gentle ember is metacognition, at its quietest, the last flicker of witnessing before consciousness dissolves into dreams. What is soothing to remember is that even as this reflective capacity fades, the mind continues its work. You do not need to supervise it. You do not need to stay awake to monitor your thoughts. The mind has been drifting into sleep for your entire life, countless times, and it knows how to guide you through this transition. All you need to do is allow the watcher to soften, allow the inner gaze to dim, allow the boundary between observing and dreaming to dissolve, slowly, like mist fading into moonlight. As you lie here breathing gently, feel yourself resting in this open space. Notice the mind noticing itself. Feel how soft that noticing becomes. Feel how it relaxes, how it loosens its hold, how it prepares to disappear into dreams. Let yourself drift with it. Let the inner light dim. Let metacognition become a soft whisper, then a fading glow, then a quiet surrender to the deeper rhythms of sleep. 19. Memory's gentle weaving through consciousness. There is a quiet, almost invisible process unfolding within your mind at every moment. A soft weaving of experience into memory. A gentle stitching of moments into the long tapestry of your life. This weaving is continuous, even now, as you lie here in the calm darkness, letting your breath move slowly, letting your thoughts drift like leaves floating on a quiet stream. Memory is not a rigid archive. It is a living, shifting fabric that holds the essence of who you are, yet rearranges itself with tenderness and fluidity. And understanding this gentle weaving can bring an unexpected sense of peace, especially as you drift closer to sleep, where memory becomes even softer, even more mysterious. When you move through the day, countless impressions touch your awareness: sounds, sights, feelings, conversations, small gestures, fleeting emotions. Most of these do not stay. They dissolve as quickly as they appear, like footprints washed away by the tide. Only a small handful rise into memory, and even those are not stored as exact replicas of experience. Instead, your mind takes each moment, distills its meaning, and weaves that meaning into your inner world. This weaving is subtle. You may not feel it happening. But just as the breath moves, without effort, memory forms without conscious intention. As you rest now, letting your body relax into stillness, your mind begins sorting through the events of your day. Sometimes it does this quietly, in the background, with no clear images or thoughts. Other times, small fragments rise into your awareness, a moment of conversation, a feeling you had earlier, a brief scene replaying itself softly. These fragments are not intrusions. They are threads being inspected before the mind decides where to weave them. And the mind is gentle in this process, especially at night. It chooses what to keep, what to reshape, and what to release. This shaping reveals that memory is not a simple record of the past. It is an interpretation, a meaning-making process. When you remember something, you are not accessing a stored snapshot. You are recreating the memory in the present moment, blending together the sensations you originally felt, the emotional tones that accompanied them, and the understanding you hold now. In this way, memory evolves with you. It grows, it adapts, it shifts like sand beneath water. And this shifting is not a flaw, it is a sign of the mind's flexibility, its willingness to help you move forward with softness. At night, the weaving of memory becomes even more active. As you enter the deeper stages of sleep, the brain begins to sort through the day's experiences, strengthening certain connections and dissolving others. Emotional experiences are examined gently, often woven into the early dreams that flicker just beneath consciousness. Skills you practiced or information you learned are consolidated, as though the mind is smoothing the edges of new threads so they fit more comfortably into the tapestry. This nightly process is one of the brain's quiet gifts, a way of helping you grow without effort. Dreams themselves often reveal how memory is woven. You may see faces from the past blending with unfamiliar places. You may experience emotions that belong to earlier moments, reshaped into new stories. The dreaming mind does not recreate experiences exactly. It explores them, reinterprets them, rearranges them into symbolic landscapes. This fluidity shows that memory is not merely a preservation of what happened, but a gentle reimagining that helps you understand your own life, one layer at a time. As you lie here drifting, you may notice memories appearing and dissolving in your mind, as though rising from a deep pool, then falling back into silence. Perhaps a small moment from childhood flashes through a place you haven't thought about in years. Perhaps a recent conversation floats up for a second. These moments are like soft windows into the mind's memory weaving. They show how the brain moves effortlessly between past and present, how it blends what you've lived with, what you're feeling now. No memory stands alone. All are connected through threads of meaning. This interconnectedness also explains why certain memories return unexpectedly. A scent, a tone of voice, a color, a texture. Any of these can touch a thread deep within your mind and bring forth something long forgotten. These moments feel spontaneous, but they are gentle signs that memory is stored not in isolated containers but in a vast, interwoven network. When one thread is touched, many others lightly tremble, and sometimes one of these tremors rises into consciousness, like a soft echo. There is something comforting in this, an understanding that the threads of your life remain present within you, even when you are unaware of them. Memory also shapes your sense of self. The self is not a single, unchanging entity, but a story you continue to weave from the threads of your past. These threads include your experiences, your emotions, your beliefs, your hopes. Each new moment is woven into this story. And over time, the tapestry grows richer. But the beauty of this process is that the tapestry is never fixed. Old threads can be reinterpreted. New threads can soften earlier patterns. The self is always unfolding. And as you drift towards sleep, the mind takes some time to gently adjust the divine patterns, smoothing edges and softening knots. Sometimes difficult memories arise at night, not to disturb you, but because the mind is attempting to weave them in a new way, less sharp, less heavy, less tangled. The nighttime brain is skilled at this. It revisits emotions, not to relive them, but to soften them, to break them down into threads that can be woven into the larger fabric of your understanding. This is part of the healing power of sleep. When you awaken, you may find that something feels lighter, even if you cannot explain why. The mind has quietly done its work. As your awareness continues to soften, you may feel how memories are becoming more distant, less solid. They drift away, like boats moving out onto a calm sea. This drifting is natural. It signals that the mind is preparing to shift from conscious recall to the deeper, quieter weaving that happens in sleep. You do not need to hold on to any thought. You do not need to make sense of anything. Your mind will take care of the weaving on its own. And even as consciousness fades, memory remains active. But instead of creating stories or scenes, the brain moves into a more subtle form: work, strengthening neural connections, integrating emotions, clearing out unnecessary traces. This nightly cleansing is one of the reasons sleep feels restorative. It is not only the body that rests. The mind rests by reorganizing itself, by finding order in gentle ways that require no conscious participation. As you breathe slowly, let the threads of your day dissolve. Let each moment slip quietly into the soft background of your mind. Trust that your brain will weave what needs to be woven. Trust that it will release what needs to be released. You are entering a time when memory becomes quiet, fluid, tender. Let it work in silence. Let the tapestry of your inner life adjust itself, stitch by stitch, while you drift into deeper rest. 20. The quiet mystery at the center of consciousness. There is a soft, unsolved question that rests at the heart of every mind, a gentle mystery that science can describe from many angles but has not yet fully illuminated. It is the question of why there is experience at all, why there is something it feels like to be you, breathing in this quiet moment, drifting slowly towards sleep. This question is the quiet centerpiece of consciousness, something so intimate and constant that it often goes unnoticed. Yet when reflected upon softly, especially in the stillness of night, it becomes one of the most soothing mysteries you can explore. As you lie here now, with your thoughts slowing and your breath moving in calm, steady waves, you may sense this mystery not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a warm presence, a gentle glow behind your awareness. Everything you experience, your breath, your body, your thoughts, your memories, is wrapped in this glow. It is not loud or demanding. It does not announce itself. It simply holds your experience the way darkness holds light, quietly and completely. This center of consciousness is not a place you can touch, not a thing you can point to. It is more like an atmosphere, a subtle field that permeates everything you are. Throughout this journey, you have explored many layers of consciousness, its shifting states, its dreams, its illusions, its predictions, its quiet reflections. Each of these layers reveals something important about the mind. Yet even when all the layers are described, there remains a soft, essential core, the simple fact that you experience them. This simple fact is the mystery. The biological processes that make perception possible are fascinating and intricate, but none of them fully explain why a living being should feel anything from the inside, why the night feels calm, why warmth feels comforting, why thoughts have texture, why dreams feel like worlds. And yet, even without a complete explanation, your own awareness feels familiar, like a quiet companion that has been with you through every moment of your life. It watched your earliest memories, your smallest sensations, your brightest joys. It held confusion, understanding, and rest. It was there in the background when you were running through your day, and it is here now, as your mind softens into sleep. Awareness does not force itself into the spotlight. It simply appears wherever experience appears. It is subtle, patient, steady. If you bring your attention inward, you might notice that this inner presence has no shape. It has no color, no weight, no edges. You cannot locate it in a specific part of your body, yet you can sense it, like a soft light shining from somewhere just behind your thoughts, illuminating everything you experience. This formlessness is part of what makes consciousness mysterious. It is not something separate from your experience. It is the very space in which experience unfolds. As you breathe gently, notice how awareness holds both the breath and the noticing of the breath. It holds the sensation of your body sinking into the mattress and the quiet recognition of that sensation. It holds thoughts, images, drifting impressions. And even when all of these fade, as they will when sleep arrives, awareness itself becomes quiet, settling into a deep, dream-filled darkness until the morning light touches it again. This nightly disappearance and reappearance show that consciousness is not fragile. It is flexible. It can fade without fear, knowing it will return. In many ways, consciousness feels like the still center of a turning world. Thoughts move, emotions shift, dreams rise and dissolve, sensations flicker and melt, but awareness remains like a quiet witness. It sees the movement without being the movement, and this witnessing, this gentle observing, can help you rest. It reminds you that you do not need to control your thoughts or hold on to them. You can let everything drift through awareness the way clouds drift through the sky. Awareness stays open and untouched. Different traditions throughout history have spoken of this inner presence in many ways. Some call it the observing mind. Some call it the inner light. Some call it the witness. Some describe it as simply being. Regardless of the name, all point to the same quiet truth. There is something within you that experiences life. Something that watches thoughts without becoming them. Something that feels emotion without being overwhelmed by it. Something that rests even as the world around you moves. When you sense this inner stillness, even faintly, the outer world seems to soften. Worries lose their grip. Thoughts become lighter. The body relaxes. You realize that you are not your thoughts, but the space through which thoughts pass. You are not your emotions, but the field in which emotions arise and fall. This recognition can feel like stepping into a warm, dark pool, calming, enveloping, deeply peaceful. As sleep approaches, this awareness becomes even more spacious. Thoughts drift farther apart. The sense of self becomes softer, less defined. You may feel like a presence, rather than a person with a story. This is the mind preparing to enter the deep, quiet waters of rest. And even as awareness dims, even as consciousness prepares to dissolve into dreams and then into deeper sleep, its gentle glow remains at the very center of your being, silent, patient, cradling to you through the night. This mystery at the center of consciousness is not something to solve. It is something to rest within, something to feel the way you feel, warmth or breath. It is part of the softness of being alive, part of the quiet miracle of each moment, and part of the comfort that allows you to drift into sleep with trust. As your body becomes heavier, as your breath deepens, as your thoughts slow into a soft hum, allow yourself to feel this inner presence without trying to grasp it. Let it hold you the way the night holds the stars, effortlessly, gently, with quiet constancy. Let your awareness dim like a lantern, reaching the end of its flame, growing softer with each breath. And now, at the end of this journey, you can let go completely, resting in the mysterious, quiet center of consciousness, trusting that sleep will rise to meet you like a tide moving softly across sand.